Imagine a love story, seemingly destined for a fairy tale ending. A man and a woman, deeply and passionately in love, willing to sacrifice everything for each other. Then, one day, the woman betrays the man, marrying another in a lavish, high society wedding orchestrated by her family. The man is left utterly devastated, his world crashing down around him, completely blindsided by this unforeseen union. But behind this heartbreaking betrayal lies a hidden agenda. This story unfolded not long ago. The betrayed man, Dong Ju, was the head of external affairs in the chairman's office at Deshan Energy, a powerful corporation. The chairman had 2 daughters and an illegitimate son, but he trusted none of them, especially his son-in-law, the second Du, a ruthless and ambitious man vying for control of Deshan. Because of this distrust, the chairman relied heavily on Dong Ju, his trusted right-hand man, entrusting him with all crucial matters. One day, Dong Ju was scheduled for a business trip to the United States. The chairman's associates asked him to bring a special box of persimmons to the chairman's granddaughter in the US. She apparently refused to eat persimmons from anywhere else. This presented Dong Ju with an opportunity to charm the granddaughter and potentially marry into the Deshan family. He, too, harbored ambitions of taking over the company, believing he could do so through his competence. However, fate intervened at a local cafe. Dong Ju was instantly captivated by Yoon Nam, the woman who would later betray him. She was lost in a world of her own, swaying to the imaginary melodies of a violin. He watched her, mesmerized, unable to tear his gaze away. When Yoon Nam finally turned and caught him staring, she was understandably flustered. He was so smitten that he canceled his trip to the US, abandoning his plan to woo the chairman's granddaughter. Unbeknownst to Dong Ju, Yoon Nam was the chairman's granddaughter. She had secretly returned from her studies in the US without informing anyone. She concealed her true identity, working at Deshan as an ordinary employee. Her clandestine return was driven by a desire to investigate her father's death, suspecting her stepfather, the second Du, of foul play. Initially, Yoon Nam intensely disliked Dong Ju. He had pointed out an error in her import data report, leading to a reprimand from her superiors. She felt he should have given her a chance to correct the mistake before reporting it, and she unleashed a torrent of angry words upon him. Faced with such a spirited young woman, Dong Ju accepted the blame. He then invited Yoon Nam to dinner as an apology, promising to explain the formula she needed to avoid such errors in the future. Surprisingly, Yoon Nam's demeanor shifted dramatically. In Dong Ju's company, she became gentle and charming. From that moment on, their love blossomed. They dated secretly, eventually moving in together. Dong Ju shared everything with Yoon Nam, including his decision to forgo the trip to America and the chance to pursue the chairman's granddaughter. All for her. Yoon Nam loved hearing this story, asking him to repeat it often, relishing in the knowledge of his deep affection and the importance she held in his life. They even got matching tattoos, symbolizing their eternal love. Dong Ju had a proposal ring ready, waiting for the perfect moment to pop the question. One day, Yoon Nam playfully asked Dong Ju what he would do if she ever left him. He jokingly replied that he would seek revenge, finding another woman to make her regret her decision. Yoon Nam responded that the thought of him with someone else would break her heart, causing her immense pain. She confessed, "I know you're not the type to leave me, but if we ever break up, it will be me leaving you. And you should definitely take revenge." She then unexpectedly burst into tears. Dong Ju reassured her, saying that if it wasn't her, he wouldn't marry anyone, choosing to remain alone. Yoon Nam immediately responded with a passionate kiss, a fierce embrace as if savoring a precious, fleeting moment. Afterward, she playfully dried his hair, both of them filled with joy. Suddenly, Yoon Nam's phone rang, and she excused herself to answer it. Dong Ju went to the kitchen to prepare dinner. Yoon Nam's conversation took a serious turn. She spoke with an edge of anger, declaring, "I won't give up anymore," and urging the person on the other end to keep their promise. When she returned, she found Dong Ju collapsed on the floor, a half-eaten pastry beside him. Panic seized her as she saw his face turning blue. She rushed him to the hospital. Thankfully, he regained consciousness. At the hospital, Yoon Nam apologized profusely. "I didn't know there was cinnamon in the pastry," she explained. "I was going to freeze it for later, if I had been even a second later." Dong Ju, relieved, replied, "But you gave me CPR. You saved my life." Yoon Nam lamented, "Why did this have to happen today? I had a special gift prepared for you." Back home, they fell into each other's arms, and their passion reignited. They shared a fervent kiss, the special gift Yoon Nam had mentioned. Unlike before, this time, Yoon Nam didn't want Dong Ju to use protection, and they made love with abandon. The next morning, Dong Ju received a call from the chairman's secretary, The chairman wanted him to pick him up for his granddaughter's wedding. Dongju was surprised. Having heard the wedding was a secret affair between the two families, he noticed Yoon Nam was missing. He searched the apartment and then outside, but she was nowhere to be found. Thinking Yoon Nam was out for her morning run, Dongju sent her a text. "Take it easy on your run. Dinner tonight? I'll make a reservation." He planned to propose that evening. Little did he know, those plans were about to shatter. Dongju drove the chairman to the wedding venue. While washing his face in the restroom, he bumped into Hui Chiol, a classmate from middle school. Hui Chiol, with an air of disdain, remarked, "This isn't the place for you." Dongju retorted, "Am I here to freeload? I'll eat my fill and leave." Hui Chiol revealed, "I'm a prosecutor now. It's impressive that a thug like you managed to climb to the position of head of external affairs." Dongju replied, "You'll see more surprising things from me, like me becoming chairman, for example." Hui Chiol scoffed. He then dropped a bombshell. "I'm becoming the chairman's son-in-law today. Once I'm part of the Daesan family, try holding on to your title. Your precious mentor, Jang Seon, is my uncle. He arranged this marriage. You should save yourself and resign. So, beg me. A little humiliation won't kill you." Infuriated, Dongju punched Hui Chiol. "That's the last punch you'll get from me," he declared. "Consider us even for what you did in middle school." He sighed, realizing his old nemesis was about to marry into the Daesan family. But that wasn't the biggest shock he was about to receive. The wedding ceremony began. The groom, Hui Chiol, stood waiting. Then, the bride, Jennifer, entered, escorted by her stepfather, the second Du. It was Yoon Nam. Dongju was stunned. He finally understood. She was the chairman's granddaughter. The woman he had shared an intimate night with just hours before was now walking down the aisle with another man. Second, Du and Yoon Nam's mother had discovered their daughter's relationship with Dongju. They had people restrain a furious Dongju, preventing him from disrupting the wedding. As the second Du walked Yoon Nam down the aisle, they had a brief, tense exchange. Second, Du say, "Seeing you get married makes me feel like I can finally face soon." Yoon Nam retorted, "You marry your dead friend's wife? So, you couldn't face my father all this time?" She continued, "I'll go through with this wedding, just as you and my grandfather want. I won't cause any trouble for this marriage, so I can enter the prosecutor's family. But I want to ask you something. Was my father's death really an accident?" Second, Du insisted, "I truly didn't kill your father. It was an accident. Soon Ho was unlucky and died. I was fortunate to survive." He then added, "I know about you and Dongju. If he knew you were the Daesan heiress and still got involved with you, he'd never have any peace." Second, Du continue, "Only your mother and I know about this. I haven't told your grandfather yet. It wouldn't look good if both families found out that his engaged granddaughter was living with another man." Back in the hall, Dongju watched the ceremony with a bitter heart, then was escorted out by the second Du's men, feeling utterly betrayed and humiliated. A text message from Yoon Nam arrived. "By the time you read this, I'll be married. Remember to take revenge and find another woman who loves you. Jealousy is consuming me, but I deserve it." Dongju could only manage a pained chuckle. Fate had dealt him a cruel blow, a truth too harsh to bear. Composing himself, Dongju sought out Yoon Nam. He accused, "You're an unpredictable witch," taking off the watch she had given him and throwing it at her feet. Yoon Nam didn't deny his words. "You need to leave Daesan now." Second, "Do know everything about us." Dongju firmly replied, "I'm not going anywhere." He had one final question. "Did you ever even consider marrying me?" With tears welling in her eyes, Yoon Nam answered, "Never. And I was going to propose tonight," Dongju said, realizing the depths of his folly. Wanting him to forget her and avoid further trouble, Yoon Nam said, "This marriage will give me a lot of Daesan shares. It's the marriage I wanted. I can marry someone even without love. Put your watch back on. I don't want people seeing the tattoo on your wrist." Driving back, Dongju received a call from the chairman, asking him to bring more soju as the reserve was empty. The mention of soju brought back a memory from 8 years prior. Dongju delivered an import data analysis report to the chairman. The secretary brought in 2 glasses of raw eggs to mix with the soju. It was Dongju's first time trying this high-end soju and egg concoction. The chairman then called him over to the safe where the soju was kept. He opened the safe saying, "You saw the combination, right?" He closed it and challenged Dongju to open it and retrieve the soju. With his exceptional memory, Dongju easily opened the safe, impressing the chairman. From that day forward, only the chairman and Dongju knew the combination. Back in the present, Dongju brought the soju to the chairman's office, but, inexplicably, he couldn't open the safe. Meanwhile, the chairman's illegitimate son, Tae-yun, bumped into Yoon Nam. He tried to avoid her, but she noticed. Tae-yun had been avoiding her because she had previously expressed her dislike for him. "Are you really happy about this marriage?" Tae-yun asked Yoon Nam. "I thought you were going to marry director Dong-ju." Yoon Nam's mother appeared, silencing them both. "Be quiet. If your grandfather finds out, he'll be heartbroken. He'll feel threatened by Mr. Jang Seon. And whatever you do, don't let the prosecutor know." During a seemingly pleasant family dinner, the chairman called for Dong-ju to join them, as he always considered him part of the family. At that moment, Yoon Nam descended the stairs, and they met in an awkward, silent exchange. That night, Dong-ju dreamt of Yoon Nam walking toward him. He reached out and kissed her, his longing for her ever present. A man's footsteps approached, shattering the dream. Dong-ju woke up, realizing it had all been fueled by the previous night's excessive drinking. The approaching footsteps belonged to the housekeeper. Later, Dong-ju went to the chairman's office and noticed the soju bottles were missing from his briefcase. Sensing something was amiss, he rushed to the company and tried to open the secret safe in the chairman's office, but couldn't. The chairman suddenly appeared behind him. "How does it feel to not be able to freely access the liquor cabinet and the safe anymore?" Dong-ju replied. "At first, I thought you'd accidentally changed the combination. But then I saw the soju bottles were gone from my briefcase, and I realized you knew about Yoon Nam and me. If you knew, why did you invite me to the wedding?" Earlier, Huicheol's uncle, Jang Seon, had informed the chairman about Yoon Nam and Dong-ju living together. The chairman had considered canceling the wedding. However, Jang Seon had proposed a different solution, dismiss Dong-ju from Daesan, and he would overlook the matter of his nephew's fiancée. Back in the present, the chairman asked Dong-ju, "Did you really not know Yoon Nam was my granddaughter? Or were you intentionally trying to marry into the Daesan family?" Dong-ju confessed, "I did have ulterior motives. I initially intended to get close to your granddaughter, Jennifer, hoping to marry into the Daesan family. But I didn't know Jennifer was Yoon Nam. I met her before my trip to America, and then I abandoned my plan to become your grandson-in-law. I was so confident I could have both Yoon Nam and Daesan. After the wedding, I told myself I'd curse Yoon Nam until I forgot her, focus all my energy on work, and move on. But now, that plan is out the window. I'll hand over all the management files to Manager Choi. Give me 2 days to arrange things, and I'll resign on the 3rd day." The chairman responded, "You have quite a mouth, spouting such nonsense. Just apologize. Why are you still standing there? Your resignation isn't finalized yet." To Dong-ju's surprise, the chairman decided to drive himself that day, taking Dong-ju to a bakery far from the city. Upon entering, the chairman stared intently at a young employee, Seon-yu, who then left after being called out by friends waiting outside. "That woman over there is editor Young-soo." The chairman explained to Dong-ju, "I come here often, but she always acts like she doesn't know me. The reason I frequent this place is because of my illegitimate son. Did you see that young man? That's Seon-yu. He's my son." Second, Do and Yoon Nam's mother were aware of Seon-yu's existence. They feared that if he ever entered the Daesan family, their son, Tae-jun, would be replaced as the heir. Just then, Tae-jun arrived. His mother asked how he knew about his sister and Dong-ju, but Tae-jun refused to reveal his source. Earlier, Dong-ju had visited Tae-jun for violin lessons, wanting to play a special piece for his proposal to Yoon Nam. Despite his efforts, he struggled to master the instrument. Curious about the woman Dong-ju intended to propose to, Tae-jun had asked to see her picture. He was stunned to see a photo of his own sister. Back at the bakery, the chairman gave Dong-ju the new combinations to the cash safe and the liquor cabinet. With a single glance, Dong-ju memorized the numbers. Later, Dong-ju located the secret safe. Inside was a room filled with cash and gold, the chairman's slush fund, now under Dong-ju's management. That evening, Dong-ju visited prosecutor Jang Seon, delivering a suitcase filled with cash and gold, as instructed by the chairman. Jang Seon understood. The chairman was retracting his request to fire Dong-ju. However, Jang Seon still considered Dong-ju a liability and wanted him gone. Meanwhile, the second Do arrived at the company by helicopter, excited about rumors of his impending promotion. However, at the board meeting, the chairman couldn't push the promotion through. Many board members felt promoting the second Do to vice chairman was premature. The chairman, trusting no one in the room, seemed to be leaning towards his illegitimate son, Seon-yu, as his successor. Outside, the second Do seethed as he saw his father-in-law chatting amicably with Dong-ju. He knew the chairman had sent Dong-ju to bribe the board members. Back in his office, the second Do informed Jang Seon of this development. Jang Seon was furious that their plans were falling apart. That night, Dongju visited Chief Du's house. Suddenly, a masked assailant attacked him. Nearby, Chief Du was murdered by the same attacker, who then lunged at Dongju with a knife. Dongju parried the attack and retaliated with a vase. The attacker grappled with Dongju, who grabbed a curtain and braced himself against it, letting the attacker expend his energy. When Dongju released the curtain, they both tumbled backward, the attacker slamming his head against the wall and losing consciousness. The attacker's phone rang. Dongju answered, hearing a familiar voice on the other end. The attacker slumped unconscious against the wall. His phone rang. Dongju answered, recognizing the voice on the other end. He knew this was Zhang Xian's doing. A suspicion confirmed when he spotted Zhang Xian's man in the parking lot. Without hesitation, Dongju reversed his car, running the man over. Moments later, Dongju brought the unconscious man to Zhang Xian's house. "I don't want to die for anyone," he pleaded, kneeling before the prosecutor. Zhang Xian didn't bother hiding his intentions. "A simple plea won't save you." Dongju revealed his leverage. "I siphoned money from the slush fund. Let me live, and I'll return it and disappear." Zhang Xian's eyes widened when he heard that 39 billion won. Dongju promised to transfer 2 billion won today, 7 billion more after his safe departure, and the remaining amount only after his safety was guaranteed. He immediately transferred the initial 2 billion to Zhang Xian's account, with Gu Ho, Zhang Xian's henchman, witnessing the transaction. Dongju warned, "If you have me followed, the rest of the money vanishes." Outside, Dongju ran into Yun Nam. He couldn't resist, pulling her into a tender kiss, despite her now being another man's wife. Later, Hui Qiol found Yun Nam lost in thought. He approached her, but she recoiled from his touch. Back home, Dongju read the news. Chief Du had committed suicide. Zhang Xian had used his influence to manipulate the story, knowing Zhang Xian wouldn't let him go so easily. Dongju checked his car and found a tracking device, which he promptly removed and discarded. Inside, Dongju used a burner phone to call the woman who sold him the violin, asking him to borrow a large sum of money. The amount stunned her. The violin seller closed her shop and waited for Dongju. He arrived shortly after. He revealed that he had installed a hack on Zhang Xian's computer during the transfer. He needed her to crack Zhang Xian's account password during the next transaction. Dongju called Zhang Xian, informing him that he had just transferred 7 billion won. Gu Ho logged into Zhang Xian's account to verify, giving Dongju access to the password through his pre-installed hack. Dongju signaled the violin seller that she had the password, promising Zhang Xian the remaining 30 billion in the next installment. Dongju visited Zhang Su and her son, Xian Yu, the next morning at the bakery. The chairman wants Xian Yu to take his family name. Dongju revealed, "I spoke with him, and he's willing." Dongju met with Xian Yu, who seemed unaware that the chairman of Daesan was his father. The chairman, informed of the meeting, asked Dongju, "Did you tell Xian Yu I'm his father?" Dongju felt it was too soon to reveal everything. "We just ate together, played some games, and I told him about my childhood." Secretary Kong interrupted, inviting the chairman and Dongju to dinner. Before joining, Dongju requested a leave of absence, which the chairman granted. Second, Du was visibly displeased by Dongju's presence. Suddenly, Yun Nam returned home unannounced. Everyone was shocked to see bruises on Yun Nam's face, assuming she was being abused by her husband. Her family threatened to break Hui Qiol's legs, but just then, Hui Qiol entered, his leg in a cast. It became clear that Yun Nam, not Hui Qiol, was the aggressor. Second, Du wanted Yun Nam to return to her husband, but she refused. As she tried to leave, Hui Qiol grabbed her arm, snapping the bracelet Dongju had given her. This revealed Yun Nam's matching tattoo. Hui Qiol, having seen the identical tattoo on Dongju's wrist, began to understand. The chairman intervened, telling Dongju, "Your business here is done. Yun Nam, come with me." From his car, Dongju watched Taejun help Hui Qiol leave. He then saw a light turn on in Yun Nam's room. He slipped inside. Before they could embrace, they heard the second Du calling from outside. Dongju gave Yun Nam a burner phone, telling her to use it to contact him. Yun Nam returned to her room, but the second Du suspected what had transpired. Yun Nam confessed to her parents. "I told Hui Qiol everything. He already sensed something between Dongju and me. I didn't want to lie anymore. I only went through with this marriage, for the Cher's grandfather promised me. I need them to defeat Chairman Wook. That was my plan." She admitted, "I thought I could easily let go of Dongju without regret. But I can't." Her parents were left speechless. Meanwhile, Dongju called the violin seller, promising to repay her loan after retrieving the money from Zhang Xian's account. She joked, Make sure you save me a front row seat when Jang Xian loses everything. Dong Ju transferred the remaining funds to Jang Xian. Gu Ho confirmed the transfer. Simultaneously, Dong Ju hacked into Jang Xian's account, changing the password and transferring the borrowed money, with interest, to the violin seller. Dong Ju called Yun Nam. He had everything prepared and arranged to meet her the next day at the beach. The following day, Dong Ju enjoyed his leave on a luxurious yacht, eager to spend time with Yun Nam and awaiting her arrival. He took a smaller boat to shore to pick her up, the anticipation building with each passing moment. When she didn't arrive, he played with a young boy on the beach to pass the time, unaware that Yun Nam was watching him from a distance. After the boy's father arrived to take him home, Dong Ju was left alone. He decided to call Yun Nam again. Wanting to surprise him, she lied, saying she was at home and wouldn't be coming. As Yun Nam prepared to leave for their rendezvous, a group of men abducted her, stole her taxi, and drove away. She caught a glimpse of Dong Ju in the distance, her cries for help unheard. Oblivious to what had transpired, Dong Ju continued to call Yun Nam. Disappointed, he returned to the yacht alone. His carefully laid plans were ruined. Still, he dressed in a sharp suit and, facing a camera, played the violin. Though his playing was far from perfect, it represented the effort he had put in. He wanted to record everything he had planned to do with Yun Nam, hoping she would see the video someday. He even repaired her broken bracelet, talking to the camera as if she were there with him. As Dong Ju turned off the camera, dusk settled in. A man in a small boat passed by, waving. Moments later, a spotlight shone on Dong Ju. A man aimed a gun at him and fired, wounding him. Dong Ju jumped into the sea to escape. The man continued firing, as Dong Ju swam underwater. Only when Dong Ju sank from sight did the shooter stop. It was Yun Nam's stepfather, the second Du. The next day, the second Du shared the news with Jang Xian. As they celebrated, Gu Ho discovered that Jang Xian's account password had been changed. Gu Ho's revelation enraged Jang Xian, who now realized Dong Ju had installed a hack during the transfer. Jang Xian accused the second Du of killing Dong Ju and taking the nearly 2 trillion won. He suspected the second Du knew the new password. Jang Xian had obtained video footage of the second Du shooting Dong Ju and used it to blackmail him into revealing the password, threatening to prevent his safe passage. Second Du, however, knew nothing about the password change. Meanwhile, Dong Ju washed ashore on a distant beach. A fisherman found him but stole his expensive watch before pushing him back into the sea, leaving him to the currents. Back home, the fisherman prayed for Dong Ju's soul, only to have Dong Ju suddenly appear before him. Terrified, believing he was seeing a vengeful ghost, the fisherman returned the watch. Dong Ju collapsed, exhausted and weak. Meanwhile, the second Du, unable to immediately repay Jang Xian the nearly 2 trillion won, promised to do so after locating the chairman's secret funds. It turned out the chairman had ordered Yun Nam's abduction. She was now despondent, refusing to eat. At the same time, the second Du was released, having made a deal with Jang Xian. He snuck into the chairman's office, searching for information about the hidden funds. He recalled seeing his father-in-law reading a specific book. He found the book and a note inside containing a coded message. Secretary Kong entered, forcing him to hide. Secretary Kong reached for the book, but found it missing. She retrieved a different book for the chairman. After she left, the second Du tried using the code from the note to open the secret safe, but it failed repeatedly, infuriating him. Meanwhile, Dong Ju awoke in the fisherman's home. The fisherman injected him with a drug, knocking him unconscious again. Second Du, dejected after failing to open the safe, left the chairman's office. The chairman approached him, inquiring about his state. Secretary Kong arrived, stopping the chairman from drinking. Frustrated, he retreated to his room. Second Du followed, revealing that prosecutor Jang Xian was targeting Daesun Energy. The chairman was furious at Jang Xian's greed. The company had already sold 59 subsidiaries at his behest, to no avail. Unable to reach Dong Ju, the chairman instructed the second Du to retrieve money from the safe and appease Jang Xian to protect their business. The chairman retrieved the note from the book and gave it to the second Du, who was stunned. He had tried that code earlier. Nevertheless, he took a picture of the note. Dong Ju awoke under the fisherman's watchful eye. He attempted to leave discreetly but made a noise, waking the fisherman. It turned out the fisherman's care had helped Dong Ju recover. The chairman's youngest daughter also searched her father's office for the safe combination, checking numerous books without success. She accidentally knocked over a pen holder, revealing the combinations for both the liquor cabinet and the money safe inside. The next morning, the second Do informed the chairman that the code was incorrect. The chairman realized he had given him the old code. Later, when alone, he searched his books for the new code, but it was gone. He remembered Dong-ju had placed the new combination inside the pen holder. He checked, but it was gone. His youngest daughter had taken it. The chairman collapsed, devastated. He called the second Do, promising the money after Dong-ju returned from leave, and instructing him to keep Jang Seon under control. Meanwhile, Won-bae, the fisherman, apologized to Dong-ju. He couldn't take him to a hospital, fearing police involvement, but he was grateful. Dong-ju was alive. Dong-ju had amnesia. He didn't know who he was, only remembering the name. Yoon. He even mistakenly believed he had been in a car accident, despite Won-bae explaining he had removed 2 bullets from his wounds. Won-bae took Dong-ju to the beach, where he found him. But Dong-ju's memory remained blank. Returning home, rain began to fall. A flickering light triggered a vague memory of arriving at Won-bae's house, but nothing more. Second, Do delivered the money to Jang Seon, noticing something odd. The chairman's safe contained US dollars, not Korean won. Jang Seon, realizing the second Do didn't have the correct combination, began plotting a hostile takeover of Daesan to confront Chairman Cha. Won-bae returned Dong-ju's watch and Yoon Nam's bracelet. Dong-ju didn't recognize the bracelet or the tattoo on his wrist. Won-bae speculated, "You must have been on your way to your wedding when something happened. You're dressed like a groom." Won-bae had also tried Dong-ju's phone, which surprisingly still worked. Dong-ju immediately called the only number stored in it, Yoon Nam. Unfortunately, Hui Cheol answered. Recognizing Dong-ju's voice, he unleashed a torrent of insults. Confused and overwhelmed, Dong-ju's phone suddenly died, leaving him with no connection to his past. The chairman demanded Yoon Nam return to her husband or forfeit her shares. Yoon Nam refused, asserting her right to inheritance as his granddaughter. The chairman insisted it was conditional on her remaining Jang Seon's wife. Outside, Hui Cheol returned the burner phone to Yoon Nam's mother, revealing Yoon Nam had used it to call Dong-ju. He asked her to dispose of it. He recounted how Dong-ju had panicked and claimed to be Yoon. Secretary Kong overheard their conversation. That evening, the second Do informed the chairman. "The Coast Guard contacted us. Dong-ju rented a yacht, but hasn't returned. They can't reach him and contacted the company." The chairman ordered the second Do to find Dong-ju immediately. "I can't do anything without him." Meanwhile, Won-bae and Dong-ju searched news articles but found no mention of Dong-ju. Won-bae wondered, "You must be dangerous to get shot. Are you a criminal or international mafia?" Dong-ju instinctively felt they shouldn't involve the police. Won-bae received a call. Dong-ju's phone was repaired. Yoon Nam's mother gave her daughter's burner phone to the second Do, urging him to call Dong-ju and demand he leave Yoon Nam alone. She was unaware of the second Do's attempt on Dong-ju's life. He tried to ignore her, but she persisted. He called Yoon Nam earlier, but Hui Cheol answered. He recognized Hui Cheol's voice and used a fake name. Second Do was startled. He called Dong-ju using the burner phone. Hearing Dong-ju's voice shocked him. Dong-ju demanded, "You shot me, didn't you? I'm not going down, no matter what you try." Second Do was speechless, then grinned. Dong-ju was alive, and the 2 trillion won was still within reach. Won-bae tried to call back, but the phone malfunctioned again. Second Do relayed the news to Jang Seon, ordering Gu-ho and the second Do to track the phone and bring Dong-ju in for interrogation. The next morning, the second Do and Gu-ho set out to find Dong-ju. At the same time, Dong-ju and Won-bae wandered around the docks. The boy Dong-ju had played with earlier spotted him. On Dong-ju's rented yacht, the second Do relived the shooting. Dong-ju and Won-bae passed by the yacht, neither recognizing the other. Jang Seon's men searched the coastline, finding nothing. As the second Do prepared to leave the yacht, he encountered Dong-ju. Before he could react, the wake from Dong-ju's boat knocked him into the water. Seeing the second Do struggling, Dong-ju, with no memory of the shooting, jumped in and saved him. Second Do regained consciousness in a hospital, remembering every detail of Dong-ju rescuing him from drowning. Meanwhile, Dong-ju, having caught a cold, was recovering at Won-bae's house. The next morning, Won-bae took Dong-ju's phone back to the repair shop. The owner mentioned that someone was looking for the man Won-bae was with. "They showed me a picture. Anyone would recognize him." Won-bae rushed home, waking Dong-ju. They packed their belongings and prepared to flee. Gu-ho and his men arrived, storming the house, but it was empty. Gu-ho discovered they had escaped through a hidden attic door. Just as they left, Won-bae and Dong-ju emerged from their hiding place under the bed. They had cleverly misled their pursuers and began their escape. Second Du called Yoon Nam. He asked, "Has Dong Ju called?" "No," she replied. "I'll tell you if he does." Hui Cheol entered. "I hope that Dong Ju never returns, so you can focus on me." Yoon Nam gently adjusted his tie. "What I miss about Dong Ju is the person he is, not a husband." Hui Cheol tried to kiss her, but she pulled away. She was only willing to be his wife in the name. Her heart belonged to Dong Ju. Later, Yoon Nam drove to a suit shop, passing Dong Ju on the road, neither recognizing the other. Hui Cheol arrived at the shop shortly after her. They began browsing, as Yoon Nam's mother had sent them to pick out suits as a gift. As they prepared to leave, Yoon Nam spotted Dong Ju downstairs, also shopping for a suit. She was stunned when he introduced himself as Hyo Yoon. She called out Dong Ju's name, but he didn't react, looking at her with the eyes of a stranger. His memory completely gone. Believing Dong Ju was playing games, Hui Cheol grabbed him by the collar. Dong Ju's voice triggered a memory, the angry caller from before. He confessed to having amnesia. Yoon Nam was stunned, but Hui Cheol remained skeptical. He threw a punch, which Dong Ju dodged, sending Hui Cheol stumbling back in embarrassment. Outside, Yoon Nam gave Dong Ju her phone, urging him to stay in touch. Before she left, Dong Ju asked her name. "Yoon Nam," she replied. The name felt unfamiliar. In the car, Hui Cheol informed Guho of Dong Ju's location. Guho immediately set off, alerting Jang Seon, who cautioned him to be careful, as Dong Ju was cunning. Disguised as a deliveryman, Guho entered the suit shop, encountering Dong Ju, who, of course, didn't recognize him. After the delivery, Guho and his men prepared to ambush Dong Ju. Just then, the manager called Dong Ju over, giving him a shirt he had ordered. She also requested a private conversation, inadvertently saving him from Guho. The manager revealed the chairman had given Dong Ju a long leave, during which he planned a trip with his fiancée. He had ordered a dress for her, the same size as Yoon Nam from Daesan. After hearing this, Dong Ju left through the back exit. Guho's men, realizing Dong Ju was gone, searched the store, but he was long gone. Dong Ju stopped for lunch at a beef bone soup restaurant, coincidentally where Chairman Cha and his youngest daughter were also eating. Dong Ju left without Chairman Cha noticing him. The restaurant owner asked Chairman Cha if he had a new secretary. "That's my son-in-law." The chairman replied, "I thought you'd hired someone new. I just saw Dong Ju sitting over there, looking disheveled and pretending not to know me." Chairman Cha rushed outside, but Dong Ju was gone. Yoon Nam called Dong Ju, who still didn't recognize her. She gave him her family's address, promising to explain everything. She revealed he was the chairman's secretary at Daesan, and his name was Dong Ju, not Hyo Yoon. Hui Cheol appeared, so she urged Dong Ju to come, then hung up, returning the phone. Guho's men located Dong Ju and moved in, but Chairman Cha arrived, thwarting their plans. The chairman was shocked to learn of Dong Ju's amnesia. Through the introductions, Dong Ju realized this was the chairman Cha Yoon Nam had mentioned. The chairman told Dong Ju to come home, but Dong Ju, still uneasy, hailed a taxi and fled. Guho and his men gave chase, but Dong Ju, sensing their pursuit, managed to lose them. Guho reported back to Jang Seon, empty-handed. "I sense Dong Ju has lost his memory." Guho reported to Jang Seon. "He didn't recognize me, or Chairman Cha." Back home, Yoon Nam asked her mother to return the burner phone Dong Ju had given her. Her mother refused. "I've married Hui Cheol as grandfather wished. Who I talk to is none of your business. You abandoned me in America, and now you want to play the good mother." Yoon Nam had once contemplated suicide, because her mother refused to reveal the truth about her father's death. She had overheard her mother whispering to Secretary Kong that the second Du had killed her father. When confronted, her mother denied everything. "Your stepfather has your phone. Even if you married Hui Cheol for the Daesan shares, you should act like a proper wife. You seem to forget my father was your husband." Yoon Nam retorted, "No matter how much I love Dong Ju, I would never kill Hui Cheol. I'm not like you." She went to the second Du's room, retrieving the phone and informing him of Dong Ju's return. Second Du was furious that Jang Seon hadn't informed him. Jang Seon claimed he was about to. Dong Ju seems to have completely lost his memory, but he could be faking it. "Be careful. If he recovers his memory, you'll be the first in trouble." That evening, Dong Ju reviewed Daesan's company profiles. Seeing the second Du's photo, he remembered rescuing him. He was startled by the resemblance to his attacker, a fleeting memory resurfacing. Yoon Nam called, wondering why he hadn't arrived. "We planned a trip together," Dong Ju said. "Why didn't you come? Come to Chairman Cha's house." Yoon Nam urged. "I'll explain everything. I met him this afternoon, but I ran away," Dong Ju admitted. "Why?" Yoon Nam asked, surprised. He adores you. I can't trust anyone right now, Dongju explained, especially the second Du. He then arrived at Chairman Cha's house. The chairman greeted him warmly. Dongju introduced himself as Hyo Yoon, stunning everyone. Taejun asked, "Why are you calling yourself Hyo Yoon?" "I had an accident and lost my memory," Dongju explained. "Hyo Yoon is the only name I remember." Hearing this, Secretary Kong gasped, dropping a cake she was holding. She seemed to have a past connection with Dongju. Chairman Cha then requested a private conversation with his two sons-in-law and Dongju. Before leaving, Dongju returned Yoon Nam's phone. He greeted the second Du, expressing relief at his recovery. "I was worried after rescuing you from the beach. But don't worry, I'll keep it a secret. You looked at me like nothing happened, so I figured you had your reasons." Inside, Dongju discussed his amnesia with Chairman Cha's youngest son-in-law, who was a doctor. "When I walked in and looked upstairs," Dongju said, "I felt a strange sense of familiarity. I think I've been here before." The chairman immediately instructed his son-in-law to take Dongju to the hospital for a checkup. Second, Du suggested a more relaxed setting instead of a hospital, but Dongju insisted on an immediate examination. Second, Du informed Jang Xian, admitting he didn't think Dongju was faking. Jang Xian, however, remained convinced Dongju was scheming to steal the 2 trillion won from his patriotic fund and wanted him captured and interrogated. Jang Xian visited the sleeping Dongju in the hospital. Dongju woke up startled, seeing a stranger beside him. Chairman Cha arrived. Feigning concern, Jang Xian claimed, "I was worried, so I came all this way." The doctor, noticing Dongju's fear of Jang Xian, claimed Dongju was under restricted visitation and asked them to leave. Jang Xian had planted a recording device in the room and instructed Gu Ho to monitor the situation and find an opportune moment to abduct Dongju. The following day, Yoon Nam visited Dongju's apartment. His photos of them remained untouched, her painting prominently displayed. On his desk, she found a photo of Dongju with a nun and the matching rings he had intended for their proposal. Tears streamed down her face. She immediately visited the nun at the orphanage. The nun, Dongju's older sister, was shocked to hear about his amnesia. He lost his memory once, as a child. She revealed, the only thing he remembered was his name. This time, he doesn't even remember his name. Yoon Nam explained, he calls himself Hyo Yoon. The nun, without explanation, gathered her things, ready for Yoon Nam to take her to see Dongju. Yoon Nam called her grandfather, informing him of the situation. He instructed her to bring the nun to Dongju immediately. If Dongju doesn't regain his memory, how will you open the safe? Second, Du asked Chairman Cha. The chairman was unsure. The safe was made of a special metal, requiring explosives to open, which would destroy the entire building. At the hospital, Dongju's preliminary assessment was complete, pending a brainwave test. The doctor noticed 2 scars on Dongju's body and inquired about them, but he didn't remember. A medical orderly arrived to take Dongju for the test. Outside the room, the orderly injected Dongju with a sedative. Dongju realized too late. Moments later, the doctor was surprised to see a different orderly arrive for Dongju's brainwave test. She realized the previous orderly was an imposter. Gu Ho had taken Dongju to the parking garage. Simultaneously, Yoon Nam and Dongju's sister arrived at the hospital, unknowingly passing by the unconscious Dongju. Gu Ho's men began interrogating Dongju, demanding the password to a Swiss bank account, but Dongju knew nothing about it. Yoon Nam and Dongju's sister learned of his abduction. The chairman's son-in-law wanted to shield the chairman, whose health was fragile. From the shock, Yoon Nam took Dongju's sister home. "I once intended to curse you on Dongju's behalf," Dongju's sister confessed, "but he asked me to pray for your health and happiness." She revealed, Hyo Yoon was Dongju's childhood name. He forgot it as he grew older and never remembered it. That evening, Chairman Cha visited Dongju with soju and raw eggs, but found a different patient in his room. Meanwhile, Jang Xian's men continued torturing Dongju. He feigned unconsciousness in a water tank. Panicked, they pulled him out, cutting his restraints. Dongju seized the opportunity, overpowering his captors one by one. As he escaped, another man attacked, choking him. Just then, the second Du appeared, knocking out the attacker and rescuing Dongju. This was part of a plan orchestrated by Jang Xian. Dongju refused to return to the hospital, insisting the second Du take him to Chairman Cha's house. To his surprise, Jang Xian was there, greeting him with a false smile. Dongju recounted his ordeal. "They mentioned a Swiss bank account, but I know nothing about it. If they were after Jang Xian's account, it must be Gu Ho," Chairman Cha reasoned. Jang Xian countered, "If that were true, they would have abducted me. Not Dongju. Dongju wondered aloud. Maybe I knew the password but forgot it. Jang Xian scoffed. I would never entrust something that important to you. Second, Du interjected. Something's not right. When I rescued Dongju, he had a gunshot wound in his abdomen. Someone tried to kill him. Dongju showed Chairman Cha the scar. Maybe the shock from being shot caused my amnesia. Chairman Cha asked about Dongju's childhood amnesia and how he recovered, but Dongju knew nothing about it. Who told you that? He asked. Your sister. Second, Du replied. Dongju was surprised to learn he had a sister. Chairman Cha urged Dongju to see his sister and combine that with medical treatment to recover his memory. For his safety, the chairman insisted Dongju stay at his house, arranging for home visits from the doctor. Later, the second Du spoke privately with Jang Xian. He threatened, I'll kill Dongju again, whether he regains his memory or not. Jang Xian naturally wanted to avoid this. Second, Du proposed a deal. If you want me to spare Dongju, give me half the money in the account. I haven't told Chairman Cha that Dongju has access to the Swiss account. You're keeping quiet because you fear Chairman Cha will get the 2 trillion won. Is this a worthwhile trade? Jang Xian was livid. He offered a mere 10%, promising to renegotiate later. Meanwhile, Secretary Kong brought Dongju raw eggs and soju. You used to drink this, she revealed. Most people hate it, but you drank it with the chairman, and it pleased him. Later, you grew to like it and drank it often. Dongju drank the concoction, finding it repulsive. He couldn't believe he had ever enjoyed it. He asked Secretary Kong, did the name Hyo Yun make you drop the cake? She denied it. I was exhausted from preparing the party. I was dizzy and clumsy. I've never heard that name. Dongju shared. I keep having dreams about a car accident. I think I'm dying, and then I hear someone calling Hyo Yun instinctively. I feel like they're calling me. I think it's my childhood name. I saw your reaction when I said the name. There's a reason you're not admitting it. Secretary Kong was speechless. The next day, Dongju confronted the second Du. Did you try to kill me? He demanded. My fragmented memories keep telling me you were the shooter. We always hated each other. Second Du admitted. I resented and envied you, and you knew it. You're so desperate to find your shooter that you're fixating on me. Frustrated, the second Du grabbed a dumbbell, intending to kill Dongju, but his wife's arrival stopped him. He called Dongju, claiming to have found a way to restore his memory. He took Dongju to Dr. Kang's private clinic for hypnosis. Under hypnosis, Dongju saw a dog in a car but couldn't recall its color. Dr. Kang asked him to identify the driver, but he couldn't. He remembered a little girl sleeping peacefully in the back seat, then a sudden bright light, causing him to panic and lose consciousness. Meanwhile, Gu Ho suggested to Jang Xian. Dongju lost his memory from shock. Maybe another shock will restore it. Jang Xian, intrigued, arranged a private meeting with Yun Nam. Yun Nam texted Dr. Kang, informing her that she was on her way to take Dongju to see his sister. After the hypnosis session, Dr. Kang saw Dongju off. Your sister is at the Chrysanthemum Festival, Yun Nam said. I'll take you to her. In the car, Dongju noticed Yun Nam's wrist tattoo, identical to his. Though he didn't remember their significance, he sensed she had been important to him. As they arrived, Dongju's sister approached from across the street, waving happily. Suddenly, a truck struck her. Dongju watched in horror. The shock triggered a flood of memories. His mother calling his name as a child, his love for Yun Nam, Jang Xian, and the man who shot him on the yacht. Everything came rushing back. Dongju's sister succumbed to her injuries. The shock restored his memory, but he feigned amnesia. At the funeral, Jang Xian offered his condolences, feigning sympathy. He promised to deal with the truck driver, but he was the one behind the accident. A distraught woman mourned Dongju's sister. She was Madam, their childhood guardian. Jang Xian recognized her. Years ago, she had mediated a fight between Dongju and his nephew, Hui Qiol. At school, she vehemently opposed expelling Dongju, arguing Hui Qiol had started the fight. The teacher then brought in younger students who, surprisingly, sided with Hui Qiol. Infuriated, Dongju realized Jang Xian's family's influence was at play. Jang Xian had known Dongju wasn't ordinary, since he joined Dasan 8 years prior. Dongju asked Jang Xian to stay and receive guests while he escorted Madam to a private room. Jang Xian wondered if Dongju had regained his memory or was still acting. That night, Wen Bei, disguised as an orderly, helped the truck driver escape the hospital through a ventilation shaft. Outside, Dongju waited. The driver's face, revealed when he removed his helmet, was filled with terror. Trapped, he confessed to working for Jang Xian. Dongju, enraged, beat him mercilessly for what he did to his sister. He then left Wen Bei to deal with the driver. Returning to the funeral home, Jang Xian learned of the driver's escape and obtained hospital security footage. He recognized Wen Bei and wondered if the helmeted figure was Dong Ju. Impossible. Gu Ho insisted. He was in his room all day. Just then, Dong Ju appeared, seemingly unfazed. He gave Jang Xian a chilling look, as if to say their battle had just begun. Jang Xian, unnerved, was now certain Dong Ju had regained his memory, but was playing a game. The next day, Jang Xian met with the second Du, planning to further pressure Daesun for more bribes. Dong Ju bought soju and ignored a call from Yun Nam. He then entered Chairman Cha's office and restocked the liquor cabinet. Chairman Cha witnessed this and realized Dong Ju's memory had returned, but Dong Ju claimed to only remember bits and pieces, including the cabinet combination. Outside, Chairman Cha's illegitimate son, Sun Wu, arrived, unsure how to ring the doorbell. Yun Nam's mother and brother, Tae Jun, arrived at the same time. Sun Wu asked Tae Jun if it was Dong Ju's house. Yun Nam's mother, wanting to speak with Sun Wu privately, sent him away. Inside, Chairman Cha learned of Jang Xian's new scheme to force him to sell another subsidiary. The chairman pondered how to open the money safe to pay off Jang Xian. Suddenly, Dong Ju walked to the desk, picked up the pen holder, and showed the chairman the combination inside. The chairman, forgetful, couldn't recall checking the pen holder earlier. He chuckled, delighted. Dong Ju had written the new combination and placed it there after the chairman's daughter had taken the original note. The chairman instructed Dong Ju to open the safe and take some money to appease Jang Xian. Second, Du remained clueless about Dong Ju's recovered memory. That evening, Dong Ju delivered the money to Jang Xian. Chairman Cha wants you to reconsider halting the merger, he said. We'll discuss that later. Jang Xian replied, I'm more concerned about your memory. As Dong Ju left, he intentionally dropped the truck driver's ring. Jang Xian, recognizing it, panicked and ordered Gu Ho to grab a gun and follow Dong Ju. Outside, Jang Xian confronted Dong Ju. You have 2 trillion won of mine in your head. Are you trying to steal it and run? You killed the driver and faked amnesia. Dong Ju snatched Gu Ho's gun, pointing it at Jang Xian. What money are you talking about? He demanded. Jang Xian trembled, nearly wetting himself. Suddenly, Dong Ju turned the gun on himself. Didn't you bring the gun to kill me? He asked. I'm tired of searching for my memories. Jang Xian panicked, fearing Dong Ju would pull the trigger, taking his fortune with him. He apologized profusely, claiming the theft accusation was a misunderstanding, even offering to kneel and beg. Dong Ju lowered the gun, returning it to Jang Xian and leaving like a king. Back home, a jar of honey triggered memories of his sister, who had raised him single-handedly. A true mother figure. Dong Ju wept, the memories flooding back. He would avenge her death. The following day, Hui Chiol and Yun Nam arrived at the chairman's house. Yun Nam immediately sought out Dong Ju's room, desperately trying to connect with him. She peppered him with questions, but Dong Ju remained aloof, pulling up his shirt to reveal the scars left by the gunshot wounds. He recounted the day of their planned trip. The day she hadn't shown up. He'd been shot on the yacht and lost his memory. Then, the day she'd asked him to meet his sister. The day she'd met with that tragic accident. He knew she was there to apologize, even though it wasn't entirely her fault. But he couldn't bear to hear it. He was consumed by grief, feeling so much pain he wished he were dead. Being together, he said, had only brought misfortune. He pleaded with her to leave him alone, to turn her back and live a good life for herself. But Yun Nam couldn't. She couldn't just walk away. Her heart held no room for anyone else. Later, Dong Ju joined the family for dinner. Yun Nam was still absent. After the meal, Secretary Kong brought out a dessert, a cake. Critically, this cake was flavored with cinnamon, something Dong Ju was severely allergic to. He knew this, but he continued to eat it, committed to maintaining his amnesia charade. Across the table, Mr. the Second Du watches Dong Ju's every move. This was his moment of truth, the test to confirm whether Dong Ju had truly regained his memory. Seeing Dong Ju eat the cake with apparent relish convinced him. Meanwhile, Dong Ju forced down each bite, the discomfort growing with every mouthful. But he couldn't stop. Just then, Yun Nam entered the room. Seeing her, Dong Ju ate even more enthusiastically, making sure she witnessed it. After finishing the cake, he excused himself and went to his room. Yun Nam took a bite of the cake and immediately recognized the cinnamon. Panic seized her as she realized Dong Ju had just eaten it. At that moment, Dong Ju collapsed in his room, gasping for air, racked with pain. The chairman immediately called for an ambulance. Dong Ju's face turned blue as Yun Nam held him. Desperate, she performed CPR, but his condition didn't improve. He was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. The cinnamon lace cake had been made by Mr. Jang Seon's wife and delivered by Yoon Nam, but the whole thing was a sinister plot orchestrated by the elderly Mr. Jang Seon. He'd been ruminating on Dongju's situation and decided the young man couldn't be allowed to live. He'd instructed Gu-ho to sneak a vial of cinnamon into the kitchen, ensuring his wife would be unaware of the addition. Mr. Jang Seon had also discussed this plan with Mr. the Second Do, explaining why the Second Do was so intently observing Dongju's reaction to the cake. If Dongju hadn't eaten it, it would have confirmed he was faking his amnesia. If he did eat it, the plan to eliminate him would proceed as intended. Back in the present, Mr. Jang Seon's wife called Hui Cheol to ask if the family enjoyed the cake. Hui Cheol, overwhelmed by guilt and anger, revealed the entire truth to his aunt, leaving her horrified and distraught. She immediately confronted Mr. Jang Seon, telling him about the cinnamon in the cake, insisting she knew nothing about it. He calmly reassured her, promising to ensure she remained blameless. Meanwhile, doctors frantically worked on Dongju, desperately trying to revive him. Yoon Nam paced anxiously, a whirlwind of worry, while Mr. the Second Do coldly awaited Dongju's demise. The doctor's relentless efforts finally paid off. Dongju's heart started beating again. Relief washed over Yoon Nam as she stood outside the emergency room, finally able to breathe. Mr. Jang Seon arrived at the hospital, joining Mr. the Second Do in a discussion with the chairman about Dongju's funeral arrangements. The chairman, however, cut them short, saying it was premature to think about such things. He had faith that Dongju would pull through. Just then, Dr. Kang emerged from the ER, pushing Dongju in a wheelchair. He was awake. Mr. Jang Seon and Mr. the Second Do were stunned. Dr. Kang announced that Dongju was out of danger, thanks to Yoon Nam's quick and accurate CPR. This news only deepened Mr. Jang Seon's frustration. Just then, Madam Jang arrived, forcing Mr. Jang Seon and Mr. Second Do to make a hasty exit. Shortly after, Won-bae arrived, having just heard the news. Disguised as a hospital orderly, he positioned himself to keep watch over Dongju. Won-bae quickly learned that the distraught woman was Yoon Nam. He took the opportunity to return Dongju's damaged phone, which he'd retrieved earlier. He told her there was a video inside he thought she should see, and he also gave her the bracelet Dongju had repaired. On her way home, Yoon Nam was convinced that Mr. Jang Seon was behind Dongju's near-fatal allergic reaction, but she couldn't fathom his motive. Back at her apartment, Yoon Nam watched the video. It was a recording Dongju had made on the yacht, intended for her. She smiled at his goofy charm, then lost herself in the melody of his violin practice. Her smile faded into tears as she saw the bracelet he'd fixed for her. She immediately put it on, the sight of it reminding her of the tattoo on her wrist. Dongju had noticed a scar on her wrist and suggested she get a tattoo to cover it, to hide the painful memory it represented. But when she'd gotten cold feet at the tattoo parlor, he'd volunteered to go first, to test how painful it would be. If it hurt too much, she wouldn't have to get one. They'd ended up with matching tattoos. The memory brought fresh tears to Yoon Nam's eyes. He was always sacrificing for her, always putting her first. Even after she married Hui Cheol, he held no resentment, instead asking his sister to pray for her happiness and well-being. The next day, reporters swarmed the chairman's house, eager to question his youngest daughter. She was accused of bribing bank executives to secure a chemical company merger deal. The mastermind behind the accusations against the chairman's daughter was none other than Mr. Jang Seon. He'd gone back on his word to the chairman, reneging on his promise to leave the matter alone. Mr. Jang Seon was no longer fixated on the 2 trillion won tied up with Dongju. His sights were now set on acquiring Daesan Group. Meanwhile, Yoon Nam arranged a meeting with Hui Cheol. She had something important to tell him. She wanted a divorce. She knew this meant forfeiting the shares her grandfather had promised her, but she was determined. Hui Cheol flatly refused. He claimed to still be deeply in love with her and wouldn't consider ending their marriage. Yoon Nam then visited the site of Dongju's sister's accident. A memory surfaced, a suspicious man lurking in the bushes. She immediately went to the flower shop across the street, hoping to review their security footage. The owner readily provided her with recordings from that day. That evening, Yoon Nam moved back to her grandfather's house, despite Hui Cheol's refusal to grant the divorce. Her mother understood what her daughter was doing. Inside, Yoon Nam reviewed the security footage. The suspicious man was Gu-ho. Her suspicions about Mr. Jang Seon were solidifying. Then she remembered Dongju being shot on the yacht. She rewatched the video he'd recorded. A small boat entered the frame. Yoon Nam gasped. The man in the boat was Mr. the Second Do. Before she could process this, Mr. Second Do appeared in the room. He revealed he'd spoken to her mother, and they both opposed the divorce. Her grandfather was showing signs of dementia and wouldn't be able to handle the shock. Furthermore, breaking the marriage contract would incur a hefty penalty, far exceeding the value of the shares she'd received upon marrying Hui Chiol. Trapped, Yoon Nam was forced to return to her husband's house. Meanwhile, the chairman planned to promote Chief Choi to vice president of the Daesan Group. Mr. Second Do vehemently opposed this, but the chairman was resolute. He pointed out that Mr. Second Do's value had stemmed solely from being Mr. Jang Sion's trusted associate. Now that Jang Sion had betrayed him, the Second Do was no longer useful. With Chief Choi as vice president and Dongju recovering, the company would be in capable hands. Mr. Second Do then met with Chief Choi, revealing the chairman's declining health and his struggle with dementia. He warned Choi that the chairman might not even remember the promotion, so from now on, Choi should discuss all company matters with him. The Second Do. First, Yoon Nam had prepared photos of Mr. The Second Do and Gu Ho. She sent them to Mr. Jang Sion. Upon receiving the incriminating images, he requested a private meeting with Yoon Nam. At the meeting, Yoon Nam promised to hand over the original photos after she secured a divorce without penalty. She knew Mr. Jang Sion was paving the way for Mr. Second Do to take over the Daesan Group. That's why she argued he was responsible for Mr. The Second Do's actions. If the attempted murder of Dongju came to light, it would be a massive scandal. Mr. Jang Sion agreed to Yoon Nam's terms for the moment, but he was already concocting a far more sinister plan. He gave Mr. The Second Do a syringe, ordering him to finish off Dongju that very night. He then contacted a hitman, giving him a separate assignment: eliminate Yoon Nam. Meanwhile, Gu Ho called Yoon Nam with an invitation to dinner from Mr. Jang Sion. It would just be the three of them: Jang Sion, Yoon Nam, and Hui Chiol. Trusting the invitation, Yoon Nam went to the designated restaurant, unaware of the danger Mr. Jang Sion had orchestrated. At the hospital, a new caregiver arrived to relieve Wonbei. Before leaving, he urged her to keep a close watch on Dongju, even while he slept. Late that night, a man crept into Dongju's room, but before he could act, Dongju was awake and alert. He swiftly subdued the intruder, signaling the caregiver to remain silent. Peeking out into the hallway, Dongju saw Mr. The Second Do. Second Do was furious that his plan had failed yet again. As Dongju focused on Mr. The Second Do in the hallway, the hitman gained the upper hand, pinning him to the floor with a knife. To everyone's surprise, Mr. The Second Do walked in and swiftly incapacitated the hitman, saving Dongju's life. His actions, however, were not without reason. Earlier, as Mr. The Second Do had been approaching Dongju's room with murderous intent, he'd encountered his son, Tae-jun, inside. Tae-jun was sitting alone, deeply worried about Dongju. He wondered aloud why his father had let Dongju reach such a critical state. He recounted how the chairman had instructed the Second Do to call an ambulance for Dongju, but the Second Do had only pretended to make the call. Growing impatient, the chairman had then asked Tae-jun to call again, at which point he discovered his father's deception. Tae-jun felt deeply guilty for his father's actions and desperately hoped Dongju would recover. As Tae-jun left, Dongju opened his eyes, having heard everything. Mr. The Second Do was horrified that his son had discovered his treachery. This realization forced him to abandon his plan to kill Dongju. As for the hitman, he had come to kill Dongju in revenge for his associate, the driver who had caused the accident that killed Dongju's sister, and whom Dongju had subsequently apprehended. In the present, Dr. Kang called the chairman with good news. Dongju's cognitive function was significantly improving. He even suggested sending Dongju abroad for treatment, but she insisted that he would receive the best care in Korea. Meanwhile, the chairman's dementia worsened. Engrossed in conversation with Dr. Kang, he wandered off unnoticed, barefoot and without his phone, which had conveniently run out of battery. Dr. Kang later checked on Dongju, finding him asleep and deciding not to disturb him. After she left, the new caregiver called Mr. The Second Do. Inside the hospital bathroom, Dongju was interrogating the hitman, revealing that the driver who caused the accident was still alive, imprisoned by him. The hitman remained defiant until Dongju threatened him with a needle. He finally broke, revealing Jang Sion's plan to assassinate Yoon Nam that night. Dongju immediately called Yoon Nam to warn her. As Yoon Nam left the restaurant, Jang Sion's men followed. This was a trap. She handed her phone to the lead pursuer, allowing him to speak with Dongju, who had the captured hitman with him. The hitman ordered his men to back off, ensuring Yoon Nam's safe escape. Dongju then confronted Mr. The Second Do, demanding an explanation for his erratic behavior, saving him from drowning and now from the hitman, yet failing to call an ambulance after the allergic reaction. Dongju, though confused, acknowledged that he too had saved the second Du twice, once from drowning, and now by sparing his life. They were square. Meanwhile, the chairman wandered the streets, disoriented. His illegitimate son, Xian Wu, spotted him but initially drove past. Returning later, he found his father still there and offered him a ride. Noticing the chairman was barefoot, he gave him a new pair of shoes he had intended to keep for himself. The chairman seemed to enjoy the ride with his son. Back at the house, the family searched frantically for the chairman. Yun Nam's mother learned about her father's dementia and angrily confronted her sister for hiding it. Her sister, however, was also in the dark. As the chairman had confided only in his son-in-law, Secretary Kong intervened, her voice commanding respect, and put an end to the argument. Meanwhile, Mr. Zhang Xian was celebrating, believing Dong Ju was dead. He discarded Dong Ju's file, confident that the second Du had succeeded. At that moment, Gu Ho recalled a meeting 6 years earlier, when he'd first presented Zhang Xian with the information he'd gathered on Dong Ju. Attached is a childhood photo of Dong Ju with another child, also named Dong Ju. The woman holding the baby Dong Ju was Yu Jin, a nightclub worker who had died when Dong Ju was in first grade. The man was Dong Duke, also a nightclub worker, who had given his surname to both children. Despite not being their biological father, Madame Zhang had pleaded with him to do so. Mr. Zhang Xian's wife looked at Dong Ju's picture, struck by a sense of familiarity. She believed the child was Hai Yun, a child she had encountered long ago. She showed Mr. Zhang Xian a photo she had of herself with young Hai Yun, insisting on meeting Dong Ju. Mr. Zhang Xian, however, vehemently denied that Dong Ju was Hai Yun. Meanwhile, Dong Ju arrived at the restaurant, relieved to find Yun Nam safe. He embraced her tightly. Outside, Dong Ju, sensing something amiss with Yun Nam's car, decided to check it. He found a man hiding in the back seat, waiting to ambush her. Dong Ju quickly subdued the attacker, while Yun Nam called security. After neutralizing the threat, Dong Ju used Mr. Second Du's phone to call Mr. Zhang Xian. Zhang Xian was shocked to hear his voice. Dong Ju laid out all of Zhang Xian's schemes: the attempted drowning, the cinnamon poisoning, the attempted injection, and, most importantly, his sister's death. Terrified, Zhang Xian denied involvement in his sister's death. Dong Ju then asked about the attempt on Yun Nam's life. Before Zhang Xian could answer, Dong Ju hung up. Zhang Xian immediately called his men to check on the hit, only to have Dong Ju answer the phone. Confirming his worst fears, Dong Ju had recovered his memory and had played along with the amnesia, eating the cinnamon cake as part of his deception. The police arrived to arrest the man who had tried to attack Yun Nam. Reassured of her safety, Dong Ju prepared to leave. Yun Nam thanked him and urged him not to worry about her. Meanwhile, it was unclear whether the chairman was truly lost or simply enjoying a drive with his son, as he gave Xian Wu increasingly confusing directions, leading them in circles. The chairman reminisced about Xian Wu's childhood, gazing at his son with a contented smile. Exasperated, Xian Wu finally drove to a police station. Only then did the chairman give accurate directions home. Upon their arrival, Yun Nam's mother was stunned to see Xian Wu. The chairman, however, now recognized no one but his illegitimate son. He invited Xian Wu inside, but the family, concerned about his mental state, tried to dissuade him. After they escorted the chairman inside, Xian Wu asked Yun Nam's mother to deliver some pastries to Dong Ju. He also mentioned he'd return for his shoes. Yun Nam's mother, though uneasy about his return, couldn't think of a way to prevent it. Meanwhile, Yun Nam surprised Hui Qiao at his office, urging him to come home, claiming Mr. Zhang Xian was looking for him. Back home, Hui Qiao confronted Mr. Zhang Xian, who denied summoning him. After Hui Qiao left, Dong Ju arrived. Zhang Xian ordered Gu Ho to shoot him, but Gu Ho hesitated. Zhang Xian moved to do it himself, but stopped when he received a call from Chairman Qiao Yong, ordering him to stand down or face the consequences. He would send special forces to raid his house. Chairman Qiao Yong then mediated between them, proposing that Mr. Zhang Xian entrust the 2 trillion won to Dong Ju's management. Dong Ju had previously met with Qiao Yong, revealing that he controlled the fund. Qiao Yong, eager to protect his investment, wanted Dong Ju left unharmed. Dong Ju, however, made it clear this was merely a truce, not a reconciliation. He had no intention of forgiving Zhang Xian. Revenge was his only goal, but he wouldn't act rashly. He wouldn't let Zhang Xian off easily. He wanted him to suffer. The next day, Dong Ju visited the chairman, revealing that his memory had returned. The chairman was overjoyed. Dong Ju then proposed formally bringing Xian Wu into the family, a suggestion that delighted the chairman. Meanwhile, Dr. Kang discovered an old photo on her father's phone. It showed her father, Mr. Second Du, Yoon Nam's father, and Dongju's mother together, revealing their past friendship. She then learned that Yoon Nam's and Dongju's parents had died in a mysterious accident. Sparking her curiosity, Dongju met with Mr. the Second Du, informing him of his return to the chairman's office and his intention to exploit the second Du's weakness, his attempted murder. Second Du, curious, asked when Dongju had regained his memory. It had been while rescuing him at sea, not after his sister's death. Dongju had saved him only to prolong his suffering, not wanting him to die so easily. Mr. Jang Xian raged at Mr. the Second Du for his failures, not only failing to kill Dongju, but also attacking the hitman to save him. He demanded an explanation. Second Du revealed that his son, Tae-jun, had been present, expressing sympathy for Dongju, making it impossible for him to carry out the murder. He vowed not to repeat his mistakes, believing Chairman Chiao Yang was only interested in the 2 trillion won. If you help me acquire Daesan Group, as originally planned, we'll secure enough funds to support the National Patriotic Fund, and Chairman Chiao Yang will have no reason to protect Dongju. Mr. Jang Xian, however, saw the difficulty, knowing Dongju was pushing for the chairman's illegitimate son to take control of the company. Meanwhile, Xian Wu told his mother about driving home the man who frequented their bakery. He mentioned the man seemed disoriented and kept calling him son, miss. Dongju was stunned. Just then, Yoon Nam's mother arrived, ostensibly to return Xian Wu's shoes, but with another agenda. As Miss Dongju tried to leave, Yoon Nam's mother stopped her, warning her and Xian Wu to stay away from the Daesan family, threatening to make them disappear without a trace. Outside, she encountered Dongju. She warned him against wasting his time, claiming Xian Wu would never be accepted into the Daesan family. He countered that it was the chairman's wish. "I understand you're worried about Tae-jun," he said, "but handling this emotionally, as a family matter, will have irreversible consequences." Just then, Xian Wu arrived, interrupting their tense exchange. Yoon Nam's mother, watching from her car, seethed with jealousy at their closeness. Inside, Dongju proposed bringing Xian Wu into the Daesan family, acknowledging Miss Dongju's years of hardship. He knew she'd opened the bakery to facilitate the chairman's visits with his son. Now was the time to act. He urged her to marry the chairman, to become his legitimate wife, explaining that Xian Wu would need protection once he joined the Daesan family. He asked for her trust. After she agreed, he called Xian Wu in to discuss the matter directly. Xian Wu was in disbelief, unsure how to react. That night, Wan Bei and Dongju visited the violin shop owner. She had helped Dongju locate most of Jang Xian's hidden assets. He now wanted her to find others connected to Jang Xian, especially those he had wrongfully imprisoned during his time as a prosecutor. Dongju reviewed the data retrieved from Mr. the Second Du's phone, finding the childhood photo but still not recognizing himself. Through surveillance footage, they saw the overweight driver, now imprisoned by Dongju, pleading to reveal a secret about Mr. Jang Xian. Desperate to be released from his confinement, Dongju immediately sought out the overweight driver. He revealed the existence of the Dandelion Squad, a secret unit within the National Security Agency that monitored Korea's elite. From chaebols to lawmakers, they watched everyone with power in Korea, he explained. But then, the Dandelion Squad was suddenly disbanded, and all their files disappeared. Mr. Jang Xian was one of the people they monitored. "We have recordings of everything, from corrupt deals to everyday conversations. If you don't believe me, ask my boss." He was the Dandelion Squad's administrator. Dongju and Wan Bei immediately planned to retrieve the administrator. That night, Dongju met with him, proposing a trade, the Dandelion files in exchange for the overweight driver's freedom. The administrator requested to speak with his associate first. He then texted Guho, revealing that Dongju knew about the Dandelion files. Guho informed Jang Xian, who ordered him to investigate personally. Wan Bei then connected the overweight driver with the administrator. The administrator reassured him, promising not to abandon him, and urging him to wait a little longer. He then promised Wan Bei he would locate and deliver the Dandelion files as soon as possible. Guho stood beside him, observing the exchange. He asked to see the location data of the call. The administrator complied, and then provided Guho with a small portion of the Dandelion files, promising the rest once his safety was guaranteed. Guho then ordered him to eliminate the overweight driver to prevent future problems. Tracking the location data, the administrator went to the driver's confinement. He unlocked the door, intending to kill him, but Dongju had anticipated this. The driver, whose hands were not tied, fought back, overpowering the administrator. Furious at his betrayal, Dongju then locked them both inside. challenging them to find a way to retrieve the Dandelion files for him if they wanted to escape. As Dongju turned to leave, the administrator called out, claiming to know the truth about Dongju's father. Meanwhile, Dr. Kang's father called Yoon Nam's mother, concerned that he couldn't reach Mr. the Second Du. He asked if the second Du had received the photo he'd sent. Second Du explained that he'd lost his phone. Dr. Kang's father resents the photo. Yoon Nam's mother angrily deleted it, revealing she had taken the picture. Young Dongju, then known as Hyo Yoon, had been fascinated by the camera, so Dr. Kang's father had slipped it into his pocket. Yoon Nam's mother had then taken another photo of the group, Yoon Nam's father holding Dongju, standing beside Dongju's mother. The image stirred a pang of jealousy in Yoon Nam's mother. It was unclear if they were having an affair, but they later died in a car accident together. It was implied that Yoon Nam's mother and Mr. the Second Du orchestrated the accident out of jealousy and revenge. Dongju had also been in the car, but miraculously survived. Back in the present, the administrator's words about Dongju's father gnawed at him. He recalled a time after his promotion at Daisan, when he'd asked his sister to take him to see their father, Paiyung, the man who had abandoned them. His sister had hesitated, admitting she hadn't seen him out of resentment, and advised Dongju to consider him a stranger. Now, consumed by curiosity, Dongju sought out Paiyung. He met a man who informed him that Professor Paiyung was on a sabbatical abroad. Dongju asked the man to tell Paiyung that Jeonju had died. The man revealed that Paiyung already knew, as she was his daughter. He then dropped a bombshell. Dongju was not Professor Paiyung's son, nor was he Jujin's biological child. After Jujin separated from Paiyung, she approached the man, asking for help. She had adopted a son and a nephew, so her daughter wouldn't grow up alone, but she was struggling financially. Dongju was stunned, now understanding his sister's reluctance to see Paiyung. He immediately sought out Madame Pai, asking if she knew he and his sister weren't blood relatives. "So, I'm not Professor Paiyung's son, and I'm not my mother's son either?" he asked. He recounted his conversation with the man. Madame Pai then revealed the full truth. Jujin hadn't adopted him. He had come to her. Seeing Dongju's disbelief, she showed him a box containing the clothes he had been wearing when he arrived at Jujin's house. Inside the pocket was a Daisan group badge, and more importantly, a photograph. Madame Pai pointed to the child in the photo, confirming it was him. She and Jujin had cared for him when he was young. Dongju compared the photo with the one on Mr. the Second Du's phone. They were identical. Madame Pai suggested the man holding him in the photo must be his father. These revelations left Dongju reeling. Meanwhile, Mr. Jang Xian met with Chairman Chiao Yong. He had accused Chiao Yong's nephew of embezzling government research funds, demonstrating his power and influence. A first step in dissuading Chiao Yong from supporting Dongju. Yoon Nam woke up to find Hui Chiao sitting beside her. He had been up all night, contemplating their marriage. Hui Chiao acknowledged that he only had Yoon Nam's body, not her heart, which belonged to Dongju. He offered her a divorce, wanting to set them both free. He assured her she wouldn't have to pay the penalty for breaking the marriage contract. He would cover it since he was initiating the divorce. As Yoon Nam packed her belongings and returned home, she found Dongju lost in thought in his car. She told him about the divorce. Noticing his preoccupation, she asked what he was looking at. He showed her the old photograph. Yoon Nam was shocked. "That's my father," she revealed. Dongju froze, momentarily fearing they shared the same father, making them siblings. That twist, however, was not to be. Learning that the man holding him in the photo was Yoon Nam's father, Dongju was stunned, still believing they were half-siblings. When Yoon Nam asked where he got the photo, he claimed he'd found it while investigating Mr. the Second Du. Concealing the fact that the child was him, Yoon Nam received a call from her grandfather. The family was waiting to discuss her divorce. They all wanted her to return to her husband, but she refused. She agreed to return all the shares her grandfather had given her, even rejecting his offer of more shares to reconcile with Hui Chiao. Meanwhile, Secretary Kong returned to her room and was startled to find Dongju there. He got straight to the point, showing her the old photograph. Secretary Kong realized he knew everything. She explained that Yoon Nam's father had put the badge on Dongju. His mother and Mr. Sun Ho were close friends, and she often brought him to their house. When Dongju asked if Yoon Nam's mother knew about this, Secretary Kong insisted she didn't, claiming she'd never met the boy. Dongju asked Secretary Kong to keep this a secret. He needed to investigate further and couldn't let the family know he was the child in the photo. Before he left, Secretary Kong gave him a gift Mr. Sun Ho had intended for him before the accident. She also urged him to let Yoon Nam go. This angered Dongju. He demanded answers. Who were my real parents? Why did they die? And what did the leaders of Daesun Group do to them? He vowed to make them confess their crimes, but for Yoon Nam's sake, he would let it go, again asking Secretary Kong for her silence. In his car, Dongju opened the gift. It was a book, and a letter from Mr. Sun Ho. "I'll buy you all the books you want." Tears streamed down Dongju's face as he tore up the letter, severing their connection. Just then, Yoon Nam arrived. She revealed she had seen the child in the photo before. Her father had brought him home. She had witnessed him giving the boy the Daesan badge. But the boy, she believed, was dead. Her father had died in a car accident. That night, she had overheard her mother and Secretary Kong talking. Her mother had been crying, saying, "Mr. Second Do killed my husband, and that woman and her child. I just wish they were dead, but he actually killed them." Dongju, wanting to shield Yoon Nam, suggested she might have misheard, but Yoon Nam countered that she had later searched for records of the accident, finding nothing. Why would the son-in-law of the Daesun family die in a car accident without a single news report? Just then, Dongju received a text from the chairman, inviting him to lunch. Seeing Mr. the Second Do there, he lost his appetite, turning and leaving without a word. He then sought out Madame Pai, who took him to the place where they had found him as a child. After surviving the accident, he wandered along the railroad tracks, encountering his sister, Jongju, sitting despondently in front of a house. He had approached her, declaring he was hungry. His arrival was providential, as Jongju, believing her mother dead, had been contemplating suicide. They had cried together, asking for food. Their cries had awakened Jongju's mother, who had taken them to eat. Ju Jin had asked about Dongju's background, but he didn't know, so they had taken him in. Jongju had given him his current name. Back in the present, Dongju visited the violin shop owner, asking her to find information about the accident. There were no online reports, so she needed more time. She worried about how Yoon Nam would react if it were true, suggesting he keep it from her. He refused. He needed to know the truth. Meanwhile, Mr. the Second Do visited Mr. Jang Seon, where, to his surprise, he found Miss Yi Hyun. Jang Seon was trying to recruit them to his side, anticipating their entry into the Daesun family. The next day, the chairman's youngest daughter excitedly went to her father's office, expecting an important announcement. She was in for a surprise. It was Dongju, and he had opened a secret room filled with cash. She feigned surprise, acting as if she'd never seen it before. Dongju shone a light on the money, revealing her fingerprints. Panicked, she begged him not to tell the chairman. He agreed, on one condition. She had to support the chairman's plan to bring his illegitimate son into the family. That evening, the chairman gathered the family for an important announcement. He intended to marry Miss Yi Hyun and formally recognize Seon Woo as his son. Yoon Nam's mother objected, but her younger sister, now under Dongju's thumb, remained silent. Mr. the Second Do didn't object either, as it aligned with his and Jang Seon's plan to manipulate Miss Yi Hyun and seize control of Daesun. Yoon Nam agreed to the marriage on the condition that she retain the shares promised to her. With everyone else in agreement, the wedding was set. A few days later, the chairman summoned Miss Yi Hyun and Seon Woo, announcing his intention to make Seon Woo his successor. He asked Dongju to mentor Seon Woo and encouraged him to marry Yoon Nam, wanting a trusted grandson-in-law to protect Yi Hyun and Seon Woo. That night, Won-bae found a news article about the accident. A truck had collided with 2 cars, killing 3 and critically injuring 1. Significantly, the injured survivor was Mr. the Second Do. They couldn't fathom why he was there. The next day, Dongju visited Dr. Kang, wanting to undergo hypnosis to recover his memories of the accident. She showed him a video of his previous session. He had repeatedly cried out, "Uncle, please help me," before waking up in a state of terror. Dr. Kang believed he was remembering something from his subconscious. She suggested he imagine himself as the child in the back seat. Dongju underwent a second hypnosis session. Inside the car, he saw a toy dog in the back window of the car ahead, driven by Mr. the Second Do. Suddenly, a truck intentionally rammed their car. Mr. Sunho and Dongju's mother were killed instantly. Dongju survived. He saw the truck driver give Mr. the Second Do something, a DNA test confirming Dongju and Sunho's blood relation. After the driver left, young Dongju pleaded with the Second Do for help. Second Do ignored him, checking on the others. He then returned to his own car, stuffed a cloth in his mouth, accelerated, and rammed Dongju's car, sending both vehicles over the cliff. Severely injured, Mr. the Second Do dragged himself onto the road. He saw Dongju standing before him, but dismissed it as a hallucination, giving it no further thought. Later, after regaining consciousness, Dong Ju discovered that Mr. the Second Du was indeed responsible for his parents' deaths, but the truth behind the incident was far more shocking than he could have ever imagined. Meanwhile, Mr. Second Du experiences a strange dream. He was being congratulated by everyone for being appointed by Chairman Cha to take over the Daisen Corporation. Suddenly, the young boy from that fateful day reappeared, beckoning him to follow and see something. As he followed, he saw Dong Ju upstairs. At that very moment, he woke up to find Dong Ju sitting right in front of him. Dong Ju then showed Mr. the Second Du a newspaper article about the accident, questioning him about the woman in the car. Mr. the Second Du explained, "Back in college, we were all close friends. Yun Nam's parents, Dr. Kang's father, myself, and Jiang Won. The woman in the photo." He pleaded with Dong Ju to show the article to Yun Nam, so she would know he hadn't murdered Mr. Sun Ho, as she had always believed. Dong Ju responded by asking if Mr. the Second Du didn't think he was being cruel. He then stuffed a wad of tissues into his mouth, mimicking what Mr. the Second Du had done years ago, a chilling reminder of the horrific scene. Then, Dong Ju revealed the bombshell. "I was that little boy. Before the two cars collided, our eyes met. I vividly remember pleading with you for help." Mr. the Second Du was stunned, vehemently denying Dong Ju's accusations. He claimed a truck had hit both his and Sun Ho's cars, and then fled. He questioned how Dong Ju, just a child at the time, could possibly remember, suggesting it might be a result of psychological trauma, especially since he had suffered from amnesia as a child. Unfazed by Mr. the Second Du's denials, Dong Ju offered him a chance to save his life. He demanded that Mr. the Second Du, his wife, and their son Tae-jun return everything they had taken from Daesan and disappear. "I'll give you 3 until Chairman Cha's wedding day to decide. Think it over carefully, because I'm a desperate man who wants to kill the man who murdered my parents." Elsewhere, a heavy-set man planned to tell Mr. Won Bei about a confidential dandelion document located on basement level 7 of Mr. Jang Sion's building, managed by his boss. On the other hand, Dong Ju showed Yun Nam the newspaper article about the accident. After reading it, Yun Nam realized she had wrongly blamed her mother and stepfather all these years. She had hated her mother, believing she and Mr. the Second Du had conspired to murder her father. Dong Ju comforted her, assuring her that it never happened, and explaining he hadn't told her the full story to protect her from danger. Meanwhile, Tae-jun was in deep thought after overhearing the conversation between his father and Dong Ju. He struggled to believe Dong Ju's accusations, refusing to accept that his father was a murderer. Yun Nam showed her mother a photo from years ago, hoping to ask her about it. Her mother's reaction was furious. She lashed out at Yun Nam and demanded she delete the picture. This intense reaction only fueled Yun Nam's curiosity. Immediately afterward, she called Dr. Kang's father, wanting to meet and ask him about the photo, since he was also part of their close-knit group of friends. Yun Nam wanted to know if the woman in the picture and her father had a relationship that went beyond friendship. Dr. Kang's father chuckled, assuring her they were just close friends. "Your father and I both deeply respected Jiang Won," he explained. "Back in college, when we were all student revolutionaries, everyone else abandoned the cause to find a way to survive. But Jiang Won never gave up. She continued fighting for workers' rights." He recounted how they were arrested, beaten, and tortured, but none of them betrayed each other. He also confirmed that the baby in her father's arms in the photo was definitely not his child. Meanwhile, Mr. the Second Du informed Mr. Jang Sion that Dong Ju knew everything. He revealed that Dong Ju was the child in the car that night, and reminded Mr. Jang Sion that he was the one behind the accident all those years ago. He remembers every detail of that night. He even knows he's Sun Ho's son. Mr. the Second Du panicked. "He's threatened me and demanded my family leave Daesan." Now Mr. Second Du wanted a gun, just like Dong Ju. He planned to kill Dong Ju and stage it as a suicide. Dong Ju was reeling from the revelation that he was Yun Nam's half-brother. That night, he and Mr. Won Bei took the heavy-set man to the location where he claimed the confidential dandelion documents were hidden. But when they opened the 2 safes, they were empty. Simultaneously, Gu Ho and his men discovered where Dong Ju was holding the building manager captive. Gu Ho immediately killed him. Moments later, Dong Ju returned to find the manager lying in a pool of blood. Checking his pulse, he realized the man was still breathing and urged Mr. Won Bei to call a doctor. Dong Ju noticed a notebook on the manager's pillow. Inside, he found a diagram showing the real hiding place of the dandelion documents, the very water tank where he had been tortured. Using the diagram, he quickly located the hidden compartment. Mr. Won Bei smashed the floorboards, revealing the documents underneath. They took everything to the piano shop owner. The documents contained audio recordings that Mr. Jang Seon desperately wanted. The piano shop owner needed to filter out the background noise to get clean recordings. Dong-ju asked her to prioritize anything related to Mr. Jang Seon, along with recordings of the 4 people in the old photograph, including Yoon Nam's mother. Chairman Cha's wedding day arrived, but he was suddenly disoriented. He kept repeating, "Why are you forcing me to marry a woman I don't even know?" Seeing Chairman Cha's confusion, Mr. Jang Seon pulled Seon Woo towards the car to try and reason with him. He introduced Seon Woo as his son. At that moment, recognition dawned on Chairman Cha, and he agreed to go through with the wedding. Meanwhile, Mr. Second Do received a package from Mr. Jang Seon, the very gun he had requested, identical to Dong-ju's. After the wedding ceremony, as everyone returned home, Secretary Kong asked Yoon Nam's mother to speak with her privately. Secretary Kong then dropped the bombshell. Soon Ho's illegitimate son was still alive. The news left Yoon Nam's mother speechless. At the same time, Mr. Won Bae informed Dong-ju that Mr. Jang Seon was behind the cover-up of the accident. He then sent Dong-ju a cleaned-up audio recording, warning him to brace himself for a shock. The recording was transcribed and sent to Dong-ju as text. It detailed a conversation between Mr. Jang Seon and another person, revealing that the boy in the car that night was actually Mr. Second Do's son. The revelation stunned Dong-ju. This was further confirmed by a DNA test result, showing that he and Mr. Second Do were indeed father and son. It turned out that Mr. Jang Seon had known this before the accident. He had given Mr. Second Do a falsified DNA test result, leading him to believe the boy in the car was Soon Ho's son. Just then, Dong-ju received a call from Mr. Second Do reminding him of their meeting that night. Soon after, Dong-ju arrived at the designated location, but Mr. Second Do was nowhere to be seen. Through surveillance cameras, Mr. Jang Seon watched the events unfold. Moments later, Mr. Second Do appeared. As Dong-ju approached, Mr. Second Do shot him. Dong-ju collapsed, shocked and disbelieving. Mr. Jang Seon watched from his car, a satisfied smirk on his face. He immediately called Mr. Second Do, ordering him to stop and revealing that Dong-ju was his son. Mr. Second Do, still in disbelief, continued to point the gun at Dong-ju, but hesitated to pull the trigger. Only when Dong-ju himself acknowledged their relationship did Mr. Second Do finally lower his weapon. Even after the first shot, Mr. Second Do didn't stop. Mr. Jang Seon, assuming Dong-ju was already dead, revealed to Mr. Second Do that they were father and son. Mr. Second Do remained skeptical until Dong-ju himself confirmed it, leaving him utterly shocked. At that moment, Tae-jun, who had been following his father, suddenly appeared and intervened, preventing further violence. Dong-ju seized Mr. Second Do's gun, but instead of aiming it at him, he turned and pointed it at Mr. Jang Seon's men who were approaching. Seeing this, Mr. Jang Seon ordered his men to retreat, furious that his plan to eliminate Dong-ju had failed once again. After Tae-jun took Dong-ju home, Mr. Second Do stood there, still reeling from the revelation. He then received a text message from Dr. Kang's father, confirming that he and Dong-ju were indeed father and son. Mr. Second Do immediately sought out Dr. Kang's father, angrily confronting him for keeping this secret for so many years. Dr. Kang's father explained that he learned the truth after overhearing a conversation between Dong-ju's mother and Mr. Soon Ho. She had kept it a secret because Mr. Second Do didn't want children. Mr. Soon Ho had urged her to tell Mr. Second Do, and she had promised to do so, but the accident tragically prevented her from doing so. After the accident, Dr. Kang's father kept the secret, fearing it would only cause Mr. Second Do more pain. Mr. Second Do recalled a past conversation with Mr. Soon Ho, where he had begged him for help when his father's garment factory was struggling. Soon, however, couldn't help, being only a son-in-law at Daesan. Mr. Soon Ho, aware of Mr. Second Do's close relationship with Mr. Jang Seon, advised him to cut ties. He also revealed that he knew Mr. Second Do had betrayed their group to Mr. Jang Seon years ago. In response, Mr. Second Do accused Soon Ho of having an affair with Jung Won and fathering her child. This made Mr. Soon Ho laugh. He was about to reveal the truth to Mr. Second Do, but stopped himself, remembering his promise to Jung Won. Outside, Mr. Second Do saw Yoon Nam's mother. She had overheard his accusations against Soon Ho, and now believed her husband had been unfaithful. Back in the present, Mr. Second Do locked himself in his room, drowning his sorrows in alcohol. Still struggling to accept that Dong-ju was his son, Tae-jun arrived and reassured him that Dong-ju wasn't seriously injured, easing his guilt and worry. Meanwhile, Yun-nam's mother now knew that the child from that night was Dong-ju, but she was still unaware that he was Mr. II Do's son. At that moment, Dong-ju arrived, wanting to speak with Mr. II Do, who had shut himself away. Dong-ju presented Mr. II Do with their DNA test results. Seeing his son standing before him, Mr. II Do was overwhelmed with regret, wishing he had known sooner. He had pushed his son into a river and shot him 3 times. And the final shot he received was his son revealing their connection. Dong-ju urged Mr. II Do to come out of his room, telling him that Tae-jun was worried about him, fearing he might take his own life. He didn't want that to happen. Outside, Dong-ju encountered Yun-nam. Seeing his state, she expressed her concern, constantly fearing Mr. II Do's attempts to harm him. Dong-ju reassured her that he wouldn't try anything anymore, and promised to tell her everything once things settled down. Mr. Wonbei discovered that the heavyset man had escaped, while the building manager was still there. He immediately informed Dong-ju, who instructed him to prioritize the manager's recovery. Meanwhile, the heavyset man went to Mr. Jang Seon, claiming the manager had sided with Dong-ju, and that he had barely escaped after fighting valiantly. Elsewhere, Yun-nam's mother entered Mr. II Do's room, and was stunned to find the DNA test results, confirming his paternity of Dong-ju. Meanwhile, Mr. II Do confronted Mr. Jang Seon, demanding to know when he had discovered the truth about Dong-ju. Mr. Jang Seon claimed he only found out that very night, which was why he had yelled at him to stop shooting. Mr. II Do, however, didn't believe him. He knew Mr. Jang Seon had known all along, and had still manipulated him into attempting to kill his son. He urged Mr. Jang Seon to withdraw from Daesan. "It may be too late," he declared, "but I'm going to get rid of you, you monster." He resolved to join forces with Dong-ju. "I'll beg my son for forgiveness, even if he can't forgive me as a father. If I propose we work together to rebuild Daesan, he'll agree." With that, Mr. II Do severed all ties with Mr. Jang Seon. Meanwhile, Chairman Cha and Miss Jong-soo returned home from their honeymoon. Yun-nam's mother confronted Miss Jong-soo, explaining why she hadn't opposed the marriage. "I'd rather keep you caged in this house than have you running loose outside. You broke your promise to never set foot in this house again, even in death." Miss Jong-soo, however, was unfazed by the threat. She had already met with Mr. Jang Seon and secured a deal. He would protect her and her son, no matter what. The next day, Mr. Jang Seon met with Chairman Che. With Mr. II Do's betrayal, he had no choice but to reveal the truth about Dong-ju being Mr. II Do's son. "If you allow Dong-ju to stay by Seon-woo's side," he warned, "you're undermining your son. Dong-ju hacked my computer and stole all the patriotic funds. You'll suffer the same consequences as I did if you entrust everything to him." To verify this, that evening, Chairman Cha asked Dong-ju for the safe combination. He then checked it against the old combination, and they matched. However, Dong-ju had secretly changed the combination beforehand. Both combinations were incorrect. He held the real combination in his head and shared it with Mr. II Do. Dong-ju sensed that Chairman Cha's condition was worsening. While the chairman was still lucid, he wanted to remove Mr. Jang Seon from Daesan and needed to know where Mr. II Do's loyalties lay. Mr. II Do affirmed that he had completely cut ties with Mr. Jang Seon, seeing it as a way to atone for his sins against his son. Chairman Cha informed Mr. Jang Seon that the safe combination hadn't been changed. Despite this, Mr. Jang Seon urged him to proceed with his plan to eliminate both Dong-ju and Mr. II Do. The following night, Chairman Cha called Dong-ju, revealing he knew about their father-son relationship and expressing his disappointment that they hadn't told him sooner. He invited them both to his house the following evening for a discussion, reminding them to bring alcohol. The next evening, Mr. II Do arrives at Dong-ju's house alone. Chairman Cha hadn't arrived yet. The father and son shared a few drinks, engaging in a strained conversation. Dong-ju told his father not to bother seeking forgiveness. "Don't repent for what happened," he said, "because I'll never forgive you." Mr. II Do promised to heed his son's words. "From the day I pushed everyone into the river until now, I've lived carefully, avoiding any feelings of remorse," he confessed. "Thanks to that, I gained wealth, family, and status. If I regretted it, I have to give up everything I have. Repentance without sacrifice is hypocrisy, so I've tried not to regret it. Now, God is punishing me. Your existence is my divine punishment." They ran out of alcohol, and Dong-ju went upstairs to get more. The doorbell rang, and they assumed it was Chairman Cha. Mr. II Do opened the door to find the heavyset man. As Dong-ju descended the stairs, the heavyset man stabbed Mr. II Do. He then lunged at Dong-ju, who hit him over the head with a bottle and rushed to his father's side. The heavy-set man, still wielding the knife, attacked Dongju again. Dongju narrowly escaped and ran upstairs. Before he could retrieve his gun from the drawer, the heavy-set man caught up with him. Just as he was about to strike the final blow, Mr. the Second Du intervened, taking another stab wound in the process. Determined to protect his son, he used his remaining strength to grapple with the attacker, and they both tumbled down the stairs. Dongju watched in horror. When he reached them, the heavy-set man was dead. Mr. the Second Du, clinging to life, asked about his son's well-being. Dongju started to call for an ambulance, but Mr. the Second Du stopped him, knowing he wouldn't survive. He expressed his hope that in the next life, he could beg forgiveness from Mr. Sun Ho, Dongju's mother, and especially his son. He also asked Dongju to take care of Taejun. Dongju refused to forgive him if he died. "There's still so much I need to say to you," he pleaded. He reached for his phone to call for help, but it was too late. Mr. Second Du was gone. Overcome with grief, Dongju blamed himself. Their reunion had been tragically short-lived. The next day, Mr. Zhang was watching the news report about Mr. the Second Du's murder when Dongju suddenly appeared and got into his car. Dongju knew Mr. Zhang Xian had sent the heavy-set man to kill Mr. the Second Du and forbade him from attending his father's funeral. When Mr. Zhang Xian defied him, Dongju's men surrounded his car. "Leave," Dongju warned, "before we make you." Meanwhile, Yun Nam's mother revealed to her sister that Dongju was Mr. the Second Du's son and that he would be claiming his inheritance, which worried them, given Mr. the Second Du's significant share in Daesan. Dongju confronted Chairman Cha, pointedly saying, "I've survived, Your Honor." He then asked Miss Dongju to excuse them, as he had private matters to discuss with the chairman. He reminded her that she owed her position as the Lady of Daesan to him, and warned her against causing further trouble. After she left, Dongju revealed he knew about Chairman Cha and Mr. Zhang Xian's plot to kill him and his father. "I sent Mr. Zhang Xian away when he came to pay his respects," he stated. "So you shouldn't even think about attending the funeral." He added that he had kept everything from the police. "I'll cover up this enormous scandal for the sake of your reputation, so you need to stop pursuing me. If you try to put me in danger, Xian Wu's position in Daesan will be at risk." Chairman Cha angrily chased after Dongju, hurling insults, but he couldn't do anything. Later, Dongju brought Xian Wu to see Chairman Che. Xian Wu outlined his plans. He would take the university entrance exam, study business, and, most importantly, have Dongju by his side to guide him. Chairman Cha couldn't refuse his son's requests. Outside, Dongju finally told Yun Nam everything about Mr. the Second Du, that he was his father, the murderer of his mother, and her father as well. He had been afraid to tell her the truth, fearing she would leave him, but he couldn't keep up the deception any longer. Yun Nam's love for Dongju, however, was unwavering. No matter what he had done, or who his father was, he remained the most important person in her life. That night, Dongju went alone to his father's funeral. He recalled their conversation from the previous night. Mr. Second Du had asked him to scatter his ashes in the sea, where Dongju had saved him. "You saved me when I was dying, and I want to repent there," he had said. Dongju had joked that he wouldn't die so soon, that he might die before him. Mr. the Second Du had expressed his desire to live, just to hear Dongju call him father. Despite having his father's ashes, Dongju wasn't ready to fulfill his request. He kept the urn in his home, wanting to keep his father close, a decision that greatly displeased Chairman Cha. "Can't you even hold on to your own father's ashes?" Chairman Cha questioned Taejun, who replied that he had told Dongju to do as he wished. Chairman Cha demanded that his wife do something to prevent the inheritance from falling into Dongju's hands. Yun Nam's mother, however, admitted it would be difficult. That was precisely why Dongju was keeping the ashes, to prevent anyone from challenging their blood relation. Meanwhile, Mr. Zhang Xian received a call from Chairman Li, who had learned of his involvement in Dongju's childhood accident. Chairman Li warned him that he wouldn't stand idly by if things continued to escalate. Back at Daesan, Chairman Cha tried to open the safe with the combination Dongju had given him, but it wouldn't open. Dongju arrived and opened it for him, revealing that the combination he had been given was fake. He demanded the real one, but Dongju refused. Furious, Chairman Cha ordered him to leave, but Dongju remained defiant. Just then, Mr. Zhang Xian arrived. Dongju coolly pressed the button, sealing Chairman Cha in his office, and took the money himself. Moments later, he delivered the money to Mr. Zhang Xian on Chairman Cha's orders. Finally, Mr. Zhang Xian said to Chairman Cha, "You see how brazen and ruthless this man is, after what happened to Mr. Second Du." Dongju countered, You should know how dangerous Mr. Jang Xian is. He turned you into an accomplice to murder overnight. It's best to cut ties with him as soon as possible." Later, Dong Ju met with reporter Jae Yol, who was also investigating the Dandelion files. As they parted ways, Gu Ho spotted them. Recognizing the reporter, he remembered seeing Jae Yol at Mr. Jang Xian's house, investigating the same files. A few days later, the building manager recovered and thanked Dong Ju for saving his life. Dong Ju warned him to be careful, as Mr. Jang Xian wouldn't hesitate to target him again. Dong Ju began sharing the Dandelion files with Jae Yol, who was eager to write an expose on Mr. Jang Xian. Mr. Wanbei, however, explained that the wiretap recordings were date-stamped, and extracting the relevant files would take time. Meanwhile, Gu Ho informed Mr. Jang Xian that Jae Yol had met with Dong Ju and had been seen by the building manager several times. Mr. Jang Xian instructed Gu Ho to investigate whether they were exchanging information about the Dandelion files. That evening, Gu Ho met with Jae Yol. After the reporter exited his car, someone slipped inside and stole his dashcam. "You really don't have the Dandelion files?" Gu Ho pressed. "If I did," Jae Yol retorted, "I would have published them already." Immediately afterward, Jae Yol called Dong Ju to warn him that Gu Ho had just questioned him about the Dandelion files. Through the dashcam footage, Gu Ho learned that Jae Yol had visited a piano shop. Mr. Jang Xian immediately ordered him to search the premises. Shortly after, Gu Ho and his men raided the shop, ambushing and capturing Mr. Wanbei. Mr. Jang Xian interrogated Mr. Wanbei about the Dandelion files. Mr. Wanbei insisted he was just a shop employee and knew nothing about any confidential files, but his refusal to talk earned him a brutal beating. Meanwhile, the piano shop owner returned to find Mr. Wanbei missing. Sensing trouble, she immediately alerted Dong Ju, suspecting Mr. Jang Xian had taken him and fearing for his safety if they couldn't find anything on the shop's computer. Upon learning of this, the building manager and his men offered their assistance to Dong Ju, providing him with a blueprint of the building where they believed Mr. Wanbei was being held. Dong Ju wondered why Mr. Jang Xian was so desperate to retrieve the Dandelion files. The manager speculated that a hidden listening device had captured something Mr. Jang Xian wanted to keep secret, but he didn't know what it was. The manager's men searched the sprawling building throughout the night, but they couldn't find Mr. Wanbei. Left with no other choice, Dong Ju sought help from Chairman Li. Chairman Li immediately called Mr. Jang Xian, demanding Mr. Wanbei's release. "This is the first time Dong Ju has asked me for a favor, and I need to save face," he explained. "Do this for me." Mr. Jang Xian agreed, but he had no intention of complying until he got what he wanted. He sent Dong Ju a photo of a bloodied Mr. Wanbei, a clear sign of the torture he was enduring. With no other option, Dong Ju agreed to exchange the Dandelion files for Mr. Wanbei's life. That night, he delivered the files. After Mr. Jang Xian's men verified their authenticity, they led him to Mr. Jang Xian, who had prepared incinerators to destroy the files. Gu Ho then ordered his men to release Mr. Wanbei, who was now severely injured. Dong Ju asked Mr. Jang Xian why he was so obsessed with the files. "Now that you've burned them," he pointed out, "you can relax. No one will ever know what's on them. There was nothing in the Dandelion files that could discredit me." Mr. Jang Xian replied, "I just didn't want a bunch of ignorant fools listening to those recordings and gossiping about me. Since my first day in public service, I've never put myself first. It's always been about the nation and justice." He continued, "The reason I tried to kill you repeatedly is because you refused to side with my justice. You swallowed my 2 trillion won and sacrificed your own sister to keep it. That makes you no different from a stranger. If you had returned the money, I wouldn't have killed your sister." Enraged, Dong Ju could do nothing but listen, as Mr. Jang Xian ordered his men to throw him off the building. Before they could carry out the order, a drone appeared, recording everything. The piano shop owner was piloting it from a nearby building. The footage, which included Mr. Jang Xian's confession to murdering Dong Ju's sister and his repeated attempts to kill him, was being live streamed to millions of viewers. Dong Ju and the piano shop owner had planned this trap, waiting for Mr. Jang Xian to fall into it. Now, he couldn't deny his crimes. He stood speechless, facing Dong Ju's triumphant smile. "You think those ramblings, blurted out under duress, are enough to convict me?" Mr. Jang Xian scoffed. "People will be more interested in where that 2 trillion won in your possession ended up. Thanks to you," Dong Ju retorted. "I'm now branded as the one who embezzled the patriotic funds. So if I disappear or die, everyone will suspect you." Dong Ju then demanded to know why Mr. Jang Xian had killed Mr. the Second Du. He removed his watch, revealing a hidden camera, ensuring Mr. Jang Sion's confession would be recorded. Mr. Jang Sion revealed that he was the one who had helped Mr. the Second Du gain his position at Daesan. Mr. the Second Du was nothing more than a loyal pawn. However, when Mr. the Second Du discovered the truth about Dongju being his son, he betrayed his master and sided with his son. That was why Mr. Jang Sion had him killed. The realization hit Dongju hard. His father had died because of him, trying to atone for his past mistakes. Meanwhile, Sion Wu saw the viral video of Mr. Jang Sion's confession and alerted everyone, leaving them stunned. Mr. Jang Sion had admitted to murdering Dongju's sister because he had taken his patriotic funds. Dongju rushed to the hospital to check on Mr. Wonbei, relieved to find he had received timely medical attention and would survive. He apologized for involving him, but Mr. Wonbei brushed it off, reminding him of their friendship. Chairman Li, after seeing the video, confronted Mr. Jang Sion. Mr. Jang Sion tried to downplay the situation, assuring him that his cyber team could easily suppress the information. Chairman Li, however, rebuked him for ignoring his earlier warning. Dongju is on my side, he reminded him. Why are you antagonizing him? He then demanded that Mr. Jang Sion retrieve the 2 trillion won from Dongju. Only then will I stop supporting Dongju, Chairman Li declared. Otherwise, don't you dare touch a hair on his head. Mr. Jang Sion promised to retrieve the money. He also revealed his ambitions to take over Daesan, starting with the energy subsidiary. If successful, he would have the funds to back Chairman Li in the upcoming presidential election. Mr. Jang Sion contacted Miss Zhang Su, asking her to find proof that Dongju had created Chairman Cha's slush fund. He claimed he only wanted to remove Dongju from Daesan, but he had ulterior motives. Miss Zhang Su, aspiring to become the chairperson of the Daebak Cultural Foundation, asked Yoon Nam's mother to nominate her. Yoon Nam's mother scoffed, stating that only Chairman Cha was qualified for that position. Besides seducing my frail old father, she taunted, what other qualifications do you have? You were a baker in a neighborhood bakery. You schemed and manipulated your way into becoming the Lady of Daesan. Those skills aren't suitable for running a transparent, public interest foundation. When my son was young, Miss Zhang Su retorted, I temporarily yielded to your vulgar and lowly threats, but not anymore. As the chairman's wife and your stepmother, I need to teach my predecessor's daughter some manners and restore order to the Cha family, so my son can properly inherit Daesan. Enraged, Yoon Nam's mother lunged at Miss Zhang Su, grabbing her hair. Seeing Sion Wu watching, she refrained from retaliating, playing the victim. Meanwhile, Dongju met with Chairman Cha. To protect Sion Wu and Daesan, he requested to be appointed CEO of the energy subsidiary. This would give him the leverage to counter Mr. Jang Sion's attempts to seize control of the company. His sole focus was protecting Daesan. Chairman Cha questioned why Mr. Jang Sion would want Daesan if he could already control things from behind the scenes with their funding. Dongju pointed out that Mr. Jang Sion had orchestrated the previous crude oil import crisis, blocking the letter of credit and plunging Daesan into chaos. He had done this to install Mr. the Second Du as chairman, making him easier to manipulate. I was the one who sought help from Chairman Li after that incident, not Mr. Jang Sion, he emphasized. I'm the only one who can stop him now, because I hold the only weapon against him. All I need to do is stop Mr. Jang Sion. After that, I'll resign as CEO. I hope you'll make a wise decision. Outside, Dongju ran into Yoon Nam, who wanted to talk. She revealed that she had seen the video of Mr. Jang Sion and questioned why he had put himself in such danger. You know how vicious Mr. Jang Sion is. Yoon Nam worried. That video was to prevent him from retaliating against me, Dongju explained. Yoon Nam, still concerned, urged him to leave Daesan, but he refused. He wouldn't leave until Mr. Jang Sion was gone. When I first came to Daesan, my goal was to become chairman, he confessed. After my promotion to director, I added another goal, marrying you. But now, my only goal is to eliminate Mr. Jang Sion. Meanwhile, Miss Zhang Su showed Mr. Jang Sion a detailed record of the chairman's office safe, eager to have Dongju removed from Daesan. Fearing her son's admiration for him, Dongju might be looking out for Sion Wu now, Mr. Jang Sion mused. But eventually, his loyalty will shift to his half-brother, Tae-jun. Make sure Sion Wu understands this. Dongju approached Yoon Nam's mother, seeking her support in his bid to become CEO of the energy subsidiary, to oust Mr. Jang Sion from Daesan. He reminded her of her substantial shareholding in the company. He revealed that Miss Zhang Su was manipulating Chairman Cha, with Mr. Jang Sion's backing, warning her that Tae-jun's future within Daesan was at stake. This convinced Yoon Nam's mother to support him. but she demanded a written agreement waiving his claim to Mr. the Second Du's inheritance. Dong Ju refused. He was there for Tae Jun, and she needed him on her side, not setting conditions. The next day, Dong Ju held a press conference regarding the video of Mr. Jang Seon. Mr. Jang Seon, using his influence, had managed to control the narrative. The official conclusion was that he was not involved in Dong Ju's sister's death, and he denied the existence of the patriotic funds. In response, Dong Ju announced he would submit new evidence to the prosecution and request a reinvestigation, suspecting someone was obstructing justice. Reporters confronted Mr. Jang Seon about Dong Ju's new evidence and accusations of murder. "Chairman Cha and I are close friends," he stated, "but he's suffering from dementia. Taking advantage of his illness, Dong Ju is trying to destroy Daesun. I discovered his embezzlement, and now he's trying to frame me." Chairman Cha, enraged by Mr. Jang Seon's lies, suffered a severe stomachache and was rushed to the hospital. Following Mr. Jang Seon's statement, Daesun's stock price plummeted, fueled by the revelation of Chairman Cha's illness. Dong Ju knew this was part of Mr. Jang Seon's plan, to drive down the stock price so his allies could buy it up at a bargain, gaining control of Daesun. At the hospital, Chairman Cha regained consciousness and learned about the plummeting stock prices. The culprit was Miss Jong Soo, who had leaked his dementia diagnosis to Mr. Jang Seon. However, further examination revealed that his condition was less severe than initially thought, just a case of stress-induced gastritis. Miss Jong Soo was stunned, and Yoon Nam's mother watched her reaction with suspicion. Chairman Cha summoned Dong Ju, expressing concern that Mr. Jang Seon's allies, if united, could become a formidable force among the shareholders. Dong Ju considered a tender offer to protect their controlling interest, but acknowledged it would require significant capital. Chairman Cha asked if he planned to use the 2 trillion won, but Dong Ju said he intended to solicit investments in Daesun Energy from his network. Chairman Cha entrusted Dong Ju with the task, but he couldn't shake the fear of what Dong Ju might do to Seon Woo after his death. For now, he needed Dong Ju's full support for his son. Dong Ju immediately met with potential investors, who readily agreed, eager to oust Mr. Jang Seon. Meanwhile, Chairman Cha unexpectedly went to the prosecutor's office and testified about Mr. the Second Du's murder, taking a stand against Mr. Jang Seon while he still had his memories. Following his testimony, Mr. Jang Seon was arrested, but the police only went through the motions. Given his powerful connections within the prosecutor's office, Chairman Lee's aide informed Mr. Jang Seon about Chairman Cha's testimony. However, one of the prosecutors, a junior colleague of Chairman Lee, had intervened, mitigating the damage. The arrest warrant was dismissed. With Chairman Lee's intervention, Mr. Jang Seon was free to go without further investigation. On his way home, Mr. Jang Seon's driver suddenly pulled over. He woke up to find Dong Ju sitting beside him, who promptly injected him with a sedative. Dong Ju drove off with the unconscious Mr. Jang Seon, enacting his own plan for revenge. For 3 days, Mr. Jang Seon's whereabouts remained unknown. No one knew if he was alive or dead. That night, Dong Ju dreamt that Mr. Jang Seon had returned and shot him. He woke up in a cold sweat, reaching for the gun hidden under his bed. Just then, a voice startled him. Nightmares are to be expected with something that dreadful hidden under your bed. It was the ghost of Mr. the Second Du. He asked Dong Ju why he was keeping the gun. Even if you consider it a trophy or a symbol of victory, it's still dangerous. Mr. Second Du's ghost warned. It doesn't suit you. I almost died because of those guns. Get rid of them. You've already won. Just live happily with Yoon Nam. Suddenly, Dong Ju visited a bakery, followed by Gu Ho, who was still investigating Mr. Jang Seon's disappearance. The news reported on the ongoing investigation, with no leads after a month. The prosecution had suspended the case. With Mr. Jang Seon gone, Daesun had stabilized, much to Chairman Cha's relief. He assumed Mr. Jang Seon had gone into hiding to avoid investigation, unaware of Dong Ju's role in his disappearance. Chairman Cha prepared to appoint Dong Ju as CEO of Daesun Energy, a decision widely supported by the shareholders. At the inauguration ceremony, Dong Ju received over 94% of the votes, securing his position. Miss Jong Soo and her son were not pleased. Dong Ju's plan was to shift focus to green energy, expand the business, and merge the energy and chemical companies. This displeased Chairman Cha's youngest daughter, but she couldn't do anything about it. Afterward, he explained that the merger was designed to attract investors, and urged her to sever ties with outside forces like Mr. Jang Seon, encouraging her to develop Daesun based on her own merits. Outside, Yoon Nam questioned Dong Ju about Mr. Jang Seon's disappearance. "Is he dead?" she asked. "Did you kill him?" While part of her would be relieved if he were gone, She didn't want Dongju to have blood on his hands. Xian Wu suddenly expressed his desire to see the secret safe. Chairman Cha asked Dongju to open it for him. Both Xian Wu and Miss Jiang Su were awestruck, seeing it for the first time. Xian Wu then asked to see the vault inside, and Dongju reluctantly obliged. However, he didn't allow Xian Wu to enter, going in alone to retrieve the mysterious cake box. Outside, Xian Wu asked when he would learn the combination. "It belongs to your father, Miss Jiang Su said. "He'll tell you soon enough." Chairman Cha, however, wanted Xian Wu to prove his leadership capabilities before revealing the combination. He asked Dongju to continue mentoring Xian Wu, but this time Dongju's gaze towards them was noticeably colder. That night, Taejun stood alone on the rooftop, contemplating everything. His mother had decided to support Dongju for his sake, willing to do anything for her son. She had urged him to never back down and to not be intimidated by Xian Wu. However, Taejun longed to leave Daesan and escape the constant power struggles. Suddenly, Xian Wu appeared, startling Taejun and menacingly pushing him towards the edge of the roof. It was a clear warning about the upcoming battle for control of Daesan, leaving Taejun terrified. The next day, Mr. Wenbei met with a lawyer to clear his name for some past legal troubles from his fishing days. Dr. Park had recommended the lawyer. To their surprise, the lawyer was Hui Chiol. It was a truly awkward reunion. Dongju and Hui Chiol, true to form, exchanged playful insults, but the animosity between them was gone. On their way back, Mr. Wenbei asked Dongju if he was behind Mr. Zhang Xian's disappearance, but once again, Dongju remained evasive. A year passed. Dongju visited the bakery for a hamburger every day, always followed by Gu Ho, who continued to investigate Mr. Zhang Xian's disappearance without any success. Mr. Zhang Xian's wife, losing hope, dismissed Gu Ho with a generous severance package. Despite his unwavering loyalty and desire to continue the search, she felt that Mr. Zhang Xian, at his age, had lived a full life. Whether he returned or not was up to fate. One day, Dongju visited Mr. Zhang Xian's house. His wife welcomed him warmly. Seeing him enjoying the food she had prepared brought back memories of Dongju's childhood visits with his mother, when he had always loved her cooking. She revealed that she hadn't ignored him all these years because of her husband. Learning that he had been raised by his aunt, she had wanted him to live his own life, undisturbed. She also shared her plans to move and convert the house into a kindergarten, inspired by memories of young Dongju playing there. She gave him a photo of them together from those days, recalling how he had always asked his mother to bring him back. Back in his office, hamburger in hand, Dongju opened the secret safe and placed the burger in its usual spot. It revealed another hidden compartment where he had been keeping Mr. Zhang Xian captive for the past year. It was a masterful act of revenge, leaving Mr. Zhang Xian to converse with the four walls and reflect on his crimes. After work, Dongju visited Mr. Zhang Xian. "Are you planning to keep me here until I die?" Mr. Zhang Xian asked. "What do you want from me? Last night, I was lying in bed thinking." Dongju taunted. "Only I know the code to this room. If I die, you'll rot in here and become a corpse." Mr. Zhang Xian asked if he wanted money. "I want it all." Dongju replied, "I want your entire fortune." Greedy as he was, Mr. Zhang Xian couldn't accept that. However, trapped and powerless, he agreed to transfer all his assets to Dongju. That night, Dongju met with Chairman Li, making it clear he wouldn't hand over the 2 trillion won. He intended to use it for something more worthwhile than serving his ambitions. Dongju held leverage over Chairman Li. He had found evidence of Chairman Li's crimes, and those of his associates on Mr. Zhang Xian's computer, which he had hacked and given to someone else. If Chairman Li threatened him or Daesan, his crimes would be exposed. Meanwhile, the piano shop owner was liquidating Mr. Zhang Xian's assets, donating everything to a charitable foundation in his name. She asked Dongju how he had persuaded Mr. Zhang Xian to relinquish his fortune, but he kept his methods secret. The next morning, Mr. Zhang Xian woke up to find his legs unchained and the doors unlocked. He eagerly stepped out, blinking in the light after a year in darkness. He was stunned to see Dongju's nameplate on the Daesan Energy CEO's office. Dongju sat nearby, a melancholic expression on his face. Dongju sat in the chair he had once coveted, but his victory felt hollow. Despite his successful revenge, he couldn't reclaim what he had lost: his beloved sister, his father, whom he had only briefly known. Tears welled up in his eyes. Mr. Zhang Xian took a taxi home, only to find a kindergarten in its place. Confused and disoriented, he had no money to pay the fare, looking like a beggar. Soon after, Mr. Jang Seon was arrested on the previous charges. He had escaped Dongju's prison only to face a legal one, the price for his crimes. Taejun visited Dongju, expressing his frustration with working at Daesan and his desire to quit. "You know how much Dad wanted you to succeed at Daesan," Dongju reminded him. "Just try a little harder," Dongju encouraged. "If you still feel it's not right, I'll support your decision." Taejun told his mother about his plan to leave Daesan. He felt suffocated by his parents' actions and couldn't face Dongju and Yoon Nam. Knowing his father had murdered their parents, he wanted them to leave Daesan and start over somewhere peaceful. His mother, however, refused. "The finish line is right in front of us," she argued. "Why give up now?" It was a grave miscalculation. Dongju gave Yoon Nam the combination to the secret safe, believing she was capable of leading Daesan. Her competence had significantly boosted the company's stock price, making her the most deserving candidate. Yoon Nam realized he was planning to leave Daesan. She urged him to stay, but he couldn't. With Mr. Jang Seon gone, he had no reason to remain. Dongju decided to fulfill his father's final wish, scattering his ashes where he had saved him. Yoon Nam drove him there, reminding him to be careful. As he walked away, he heard her call out. He turned back, and they shared a tender kiss, a release of all the pressure and pain they had endured. Meanwhile, Taejun and Seon-woo were having a seemingly friendly chat. Taejun even took a selfie to commemorate the moment and sent it to Dongju, excitedly sharing that they had been discussing business school. He was starting to feel like he belonged at Daesan. Moments later, Seon-woo pushed Taejun off the rooftop, ending his aspirations and revealing his cruel nature. Dongju boarded the yacht, just like that fateful night years ago, and scattered his father's ashes. The sight of a piano nearby brought back memories of his first encounter with Yoon Nam, intertwined with the chilling memory of his father shooting him. It was a reflection of his life, moments of happiness and the pain of loss. Now he sought peace and solitude to reflect on his past. After Taejun's death, his mother fell into a deep depression. Alone and consumed by grief, Yoon Nam continued working on her painting, adding herself beside Dongju, a message that he would never be alone, that she would always be with him wherever he went. And so, the story of Buried Heart comes to an end. Thank you for watching, and join us for more captivating dramas.